Yeah, we're on, man.
Awesome. Yeah, we were just talking about acid, and it reminds. I had a friend growing up. He went to elementary school with me. He ended up getting kicked out. We split ways after junior high. He went to a different high school, but I heard stories of him. Like we still had mutual friends, and was still in the same town. But he ended up getting kicked out of high school for some sort of sexual deviancy. I can't remember exactly what it was. It wasn't like something serious enough to go to jail, but it was something serious enough to like get expelled from school. But he went on to, like, he graduated from UCLA with a business degree, became a commercial real estate agent, and he's my age. He's 37. He's been retired for several years now. He made millions of dollars in commercial real estate.
Dang.
But he was also I wouldn't call him a drug dealer, but he always had acid in his freezer, constantly. And he did so much acid that he was just a weird fucking guy. I brought him around several people and like introduced him to him. Your sister, or my sister, your wife, met him one time. We went when she was in town. We met at a brewery.
And she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
Yeah, the dude's just like really fucking weird. Casey, same thing. She met him one time. And it was fucking weird. We go over and he's this successful millionaire and he's hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds and they're sitting around doing whippets, like sitting on the floor. Sitting on the floor. His grandma had just died, so he was like clearing out her house. So he had been staying there. It was a house in our old neighborhood that we grew up in. There's no furniture. They're just sitting on the floor doing whippets. And Casey looks at me after like half an hour and she's like, "Can we please go? This is weird." How he became the successful guy that he was, I have no idea, but he did acid like once a week.
Well, I mean, anything you put effort towards, and if you're good at it, sure, why not?
Yeah. Highly intelligent guy. Just fucking weird.
Yeah, the whole whippet thing, dude. I saw that, I don't know if it was a documentary or whatever it was, but it was on Steve-O. I don't know if you ever saw that, but he talks a lot about, it's some video that they did where they talk a lot about his drug habit and everything. Because there was a long time where he was doing just about anything, but then he got way into whippets. Like that was his thing.
I didn't know that. I knew he was like a big cokehead.
Yeah, coke and whippets, which is a weird combo. But like they have all this video of him like doing them, and he bought the like industrial size, what the fuck are they? Like the whipped cream canister things, like the refillable ones, that they use in bakeries and shit like that.
Yeah, that's what this guy had.
Yeah, so he bought one of those and just had stacks and stacks and stacks of the fucking nitrous charges, like boxes and boxes of them. And they'd show up at his apartment and they'd walk in and it's just empty fucking little canisters just all over the place, everywhere. Because that's all he did fucking all day was he would sit there and just suck on the fucking whippet thing. And then like after a while he started having like seizures and shit like that.
I was going to say, that's got to be horrible for you.
Yeah, so they eventually got, they did like an intervention thing or something. They got him into rehab and cleaned him up. But
yeah, he's like totally clean now, right? And
I think so,
great,
yeah.
From what I've heard.
Yeah, he's still fucking wacky and he does damn near anything, but
yeah,
he's off of drugs and stuff. He doesn't, I don't think he even drinks or anything.
Yeah, I think I've seen some sort of podcast with him on it where he's talking about being clean and some of the stories from that time. I never heard about the whippets thing though. I never tried whippets.
They're fun.
Yeah. Well, it seemed, I watched plenty of people do it.
It's
but like a short trip, right? It's like,
oh yeah, super short.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done coke, but I imagine it's worse than that. I mean, coke's what, like a 20-30 minute high from what I hear. Whippets are like, depending on how much you do, it's like a couple minutes.
I'm sure that depends on like how much coke you do. I've only done coke twice.
Oh.
For me, I did it actually with the same guy twice.
The acid guy?
No, a guy in Colorado that I worked with, but he was like, he did a lot of coke. Oh. His girlfriend was a stripper, so it was just like kind of their lifestyle. Yeah. But we were out drinking, and he really impressed me. He probably knew who the guy was, but he played it off like he was like, yeah, I can spot a coke dealer from a mile away. He was like, that guy has coke. I'm gonna go talk to him. So I'm like, bullshit, whatever.
Well, yeah, he goes, smell your own.
Yeah. So just some random guy at this busy bar in downtown Denver. He goes over there, like, does a transaction, walks back. He was like, got some Coke. So we go back to his place. He had like this crazy downtown like skyrise apartment in downtown Denver. And we go do Coke. It's like 1:00 in the morning. My first time ever doing it. And I'm like fucking wired, like feeling good. Like, all right, what are we going to do now? And he was like, well, I'm going to go to bed.
What? How do you do a bunch of Coke and then fucking go to bed?
Because you've done too much Coke, probably. So I told him it was fucking bullshit because I literally just like stayed awake the entire night until it wore off and just drove home like at 8:00 in the morning. And then next time I was like, dude, we need to actually like go and have fun and party if I'm going to do this with you again.
Yeah.
And we did the next time, but never again.
Plan to actually go out and make use of it?
I've smoked weed, done mushrooms once a long time ago. Mushrooms is actually something I would do again.
Yeah, never done mushrooms, never done psychedelics whatsoever.
It's fun. It'd be something I would definitely try again. So Coke twice and Molly twice. That's it. Had to do both of those things twice. Molly was actually a kind of a scary one for me because I did it the first time, and then I like completely like I was seeking it out. I'm like, oh, that was fucking awesome. I want to go get some more. Yeah. And then I liked it like even more the second time, and I'm like, yeah, I probably don't need to do this anymore.
One of the ones that hooked you?
For a second, like if I would have not had any self-control.
Your wits about you. Yeah. Yeah, that shit's bad.
There's a crazy story around that though. So it was when I was doing like the truck driving, and I would use my hometown, Lancaster, as a home base. So I would go back there for like a week or two at a time. And that was when Randy was out. And I was like staying with Randy a lot, or staying with my mom, or just staying with the acid guy. And I wanted Molly, and my little brother had a hookup. He's like, okay, yeah. So we went to this McDonald's parking lot to meet this guy. Waiting in a parking spot, the guy pulls up next to us, and I was like, you want me to handle it? My little brother was like, oh, like, no, I'll handle it. So he like gets out, like gets in the guy's car, gives him the money, and we bought a shitload. Like we were planning on doing it. Luckily,
like fucking party size.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to last us like a month probably, and we were just probably going to fucking do it all the time. Yeah. It's a good thing that this happened. Turns out like it was just completely bunk, and like he hands it back to me, and like I'm checking it and realize that it's bunk, but the guy had already pulled out, and we go to start like trying to chase him.
Like just straight baby powder or something?
I don't remember. So long ago, I don't remember exactly what tipped it off, but it was obvious. I think the first thing was that the pills, they were like capsules.
Yeah.
And they were like maybe like 15% full. And then what was in there was just like obviously not anything. Like I don't know what was actually in there. But
it just looked like bullshit.
They took off, and we caught up to them, but then they like lost us, and we're like chasing them. We're like, fuck these guys, because it was like $400 worth of Molly.
Yeah.
Well, my dad was out, and he was in that whole drug scene. He was doing meth and selling meth. So we utilized that resource, and we're like, hey, the guy's name was Frosty, the dealer that we bought from. He's like, hey, do you know a guy named Frosty? Like, this is just what happened. He ripped us off. And he was like, nope, but I'm on it.
And you're talking about Randy, right?
Randy.
Yeah.
Randy. So within 3 hours, like there were several phone calls back and forth. We actually went back over to the acid guy, his house, and we're like hanging out, and Randy showed up, and he was making phone calls, and he calls me, and he was like, hey, I got Frosty here. What do you want me to do with him? Turns out he had the connection. He had never heard of him before, but he made a bunch of phone calls, and there was some Mexican mafia people who he called because the Frosty guy was Mexican, and they're like, yeah, we know who he is. Like, he's one of our guys. Like one of their street dealers, like not like one of them, but like one of their street dealers.
Yeah.
So they got him, and they tied him up, and they like did some shit that I won't say on here, and we got our money back. It was a crazy fucking story.
It's some good customer service.
Yeah. So then we got some real stuff later. Like I ended up going back on the road, came back, and I did it once more. And, yeah. Yeah,
I never done it. Never really had much interest in it. I mean, I don't know. It sounds fun, but I always worry like anything, just maybe getting addicted to something or whatever. Like that was always my
Yeah.
biggest fear. And plus, I'm a huge rebel. If everybody's doing it, then 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, that's fucking stupid, and so I just stay away from it. I've always been that way, which I don't know, maybe is kind of a blessing and a curse. I feel like when I was younger, I missed out on a lot of shit that, was fun that everybody else was doing only because everybody else is doing it.
Right.
Like I have a lot of friends that are into fucking Pokemon and all that stuff. And when they talk, I fucking blank out because I wasn't in that crowd. You know what I mean? So I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about and Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go over here. It's just weird.
I had friends that were the same way.
Yeah. But, and then I think, fuck, well, and like football, stuff like that. I mean, I'm big into football now. I'm not a huge fan, but I like it.
Yeah.
But back when I was in school, I hated all the jocks and all the football people and stuff. And I was like, oh, you're playing football, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I think about it now and I'm like, fuck, I wish I had played football. Just the camaraderie, and the team building and, and just being together, all that stuff. I mean, that's really important. And that's actually a great fucking tool. And I only realize it now that I'm older. Like that was a great fucking thing for people is to be on a team, whether it's baseball, football, whatever. There's a lot of stuff like that I missed out because I was so just, oh, fuck you, it's stupid.
Yeah. I wasn't into football as a kid that much either. But it was kind of a weird thing, like growing up in Southern California, the history of Southern California teams. I mean, there was the Raiders, the Chargers, the Rams. They all moved away. So people are usually fans of like their teams that are in close proximity to where they live. It's the hometown teams. I never had that. And my dad, the guy who raised me, Frank, he just would, as soon as a team would leave, he would write them off. So we would have a team for like a year or two and we'd get really into it. And then we wouldn't have a team. And then he was like all of a sudden a Chiefs fan or all of a sudden a Broncos fan. And it was just like so confusing. So it wasn't until I was like, 18, 19 probably that I just chose my own team. My family's from up here, so I became a Seahawks fan and stuck with it.
Yeah.
I always made the joke. I was like, yes, I never had a team growing up because all the football teams abandoned me like my real dad.
That's fucked up. I had a lot of friends, like so going back to drugs. I had a lot of friends that did, I mean, all kinds of stuff. Growing up in the Silver Valley. I mean,
I bet.
It was rampant. There's fucking meth and coke, and I mean, there's a little bit of heroin going around and stuff. Definitely tons and tons of weed. And that was one of those things that, again, it was everybody was doing it, and so I kind of just steered clear of it. Also, because I was always worried that, like, what if it's really fucking good? What if I get into something that I can't get out of? And so the best thing that I thought was just, fuck, why get into it in the first place?
Yeah.
I mean, I smoked weed for a while, quite a bit of it actually. And I mean, that was cool. It was no big deal. I mean, it's fucking weed. Like, who cares? Everybody does weed now. It's fucking good.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many times does it, I mean, with all the scientific studies and everything they've done about all the good things that it does, I'm a huge fucking proponent of weed. It should be, if it's legal for me to sit here and drink this beer with you, then it should be fucking legal to smoke a joint.
It's far less destructive for most people.
Yeah.
There's, I heard an analogy recently that it's safer than, what was it? So it was comparing it to peanuts. Like, peanuts are good. They're a nutritious food. They're good for most people. Yeah. But weed is actually safer than peanuts because peanuts can kill some people. Yeah. Even if weed doesn't sit right with you, if you react differently to it, like some people can actually go into psychosis if they smoke enough weed, and like it can trigger certain things, probably like underlying psychotic conditions and stuff like that it can trigger, but never killed anybody. And peanuts have killed somebody. There's lots of foods that have killed somebody, but weed's not one of them.
Well, and what is it? You'd have to smoke something like 100 and some pounds or some shit of it in one sitting within a certain like short, like a 2-hour time span to actually OD on it.
Right. Well, think about water. Like it takes far less water to drown your insides.
Right. But that's the thing though, is even water can actually kill you if you drink too much. Yeah.
You can OD on it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What the fuck do they call that?
I don't know.
Fuck, I can't remember the word for it. Yeah, but you drink so much water that you saturate pretty much everything and you go into some kind of shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's possible to fucking OD on water, I mean, really, if you drank enough fucking water, if you sat there and you just drank a few gallons of it all in one sitting, I mean, you could probably blow your stomach up, something.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And yet it's probably physically impossible to smoke the amount of weed in one sitting it would take for you to OD. And yet it's illegal.
Yep.
It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. There's been plenty of times where I've smoked way too much than I should have.
Oh, yeah.
And you think you're going to die.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there's always the stupid shit like crossfading.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Take a few hits and then you're just not thinking right. And you have a few shots of whiskey or something. And then before you know it, you're throwing up and like, oh, spinning around everywhere.
Yeah.
That's probably not a good idea.
For me, I can smoke a little bit of weed before I drink, even if I'm going to get like pretty drunk. I don't usually. Like smoking a little bit of weed and having a few drinks is like actually pretty mellow. But it's after the fact. So if I get really drunk and then somebody offers me something and I'm drunk enough to not have my wits about me and say no and smoke a shitload of weed, that's when the spins and like you just feel like shit.
Yeah. It's funny that you brought up peanuts because I didn't know until just recently, like our doctor was telling me about this because, you know, I've been going to the same doctor that Amarai has been going to and stuff, the one that I recommended to her that's helped her out so much.
Right. She actually sent me the link recently. I need to set up something. Yeah,
you should go see her. She's pretty amazing. I honestly have never felt better like in the last decade than I do now, just because of, you know, the diet regimen that she's put me on and like the testosterone replacement and just everything.
Oh, you got on that?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been on that for a couple of years now. Yeah,
I do the injection because I didn't want to do the cream.
I just started with the injection a few months ago. I've been doing the cream this whole time.
Yeah, she was like, well, you can either do a cream and you just have to be careful because you have to make sure you wash your hands really good and you can't touch anything or anyone, you know, because it can spread, and if it gets into your children or your wife or whatever, then it can throw their hormones off. And I was like, God, that sounds like a big fucking pain in the ass.
When Casey got pregnant, that's the exact time that I switched from that because I knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to risk anything. Like I was washing the sheets all the time and just like, but the thing is, like, what scared me is that so I would have to do blood tests. So they would send you because mine was it's like a remote sort of thing. So they send you like a little finger prick thing that you put to take your blood and you send it off to the lab.
Okay.
But my blood levels of testosterone were coming back like 10 times what they should have been. Because I was doing it from my finger.
On the
even
same
though
hand
even though I would
applying.
wash my hands. And the doctor was like, yeah, that's super common. Like, so I ended up having to go into an actual lab and do real blood results and my levels were good. But I'm like, well, if there's still like residual stuff there, like I don't even want to take the risk. So
and that's what I've been doing. It's like about every quarter. So it's like every month and a half now I go in and I see her. So the month and a half it's an in between where we just talk about how I'm feeling and, you know, stuff like that. And then she decides to either put me on something new or maybe change dosage, stuff like that.
Right.
And then at the 3-month mark is how we've been doing it. That's when she'll send me in to get blood work done. And so I just had blood work done.
Everything good?
Well, I mean, yes and no. So apparently I don't know what it is. She was like, oh, you're going to be one of those. And I go, one of what? And she's like, one of those people that reacts, you know, harshly to medications. And so it's hard to dial stuff in.
What was wrong?
So nothing's really wrong, but like, so my T was really, really low when I first started and now it's extremely high. And at one point she had to put me on, it's called an estradiol and it's a estrogen blocker.
Right.
Because when you know, especially if you have a lot of weight around your gut, as most people don't realize is that your gut controls like 90% of your, you know, your immune system. So if your gut is fucked up, then you're fucked up. That's why you feel like shit. It's a huge cause of depression and, you know, everything else. It really fucks with you. And so my gut was all messed up and like I have high blood pressure, stuff like that. And I was on the verge of diabetes, which runs in my family. And so what she thinks is that on both sides of my family, for some reason, just our our genes, when our guts get fucked up, we don't pass a certain protein. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a protein that helps bind insulin to sugar in your blood. And so if your gut is fucked up, then that's just the first thing that goes wrong. Which makes sense why a lot of my family, it has like low grade diabetes. I can't think of anybody that has to do like insulin injections or anything, but a lot of them take the pill.
Yeah.
And so she was like, well, if you keep going the way you're going, then you're well on that path. Like you're not high enough to be put on something, but you're right there. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I was like, well, I don't want to fucking take pills or injections, insulin and stuff like that. So what can we do to fix this? And she put me on a diet plan and exercise, which I haven't been doing very well. I need to get more on it, but just eating better, eating more whole foods and stuff like that, staying away from prepackaged garbage and, TV dinners and crap. And I mean, most of our diet anyway, we make a lot of our food in-house fresh anyway. So it wasn't like it was that hard to,
and you quit smoking. You quit drinking for a long time and now you barely drink at all. I mean,
yeah.
That's awesome.
So all of that combined has really brought my health into a way better place. I mean, I'm still a little overweight, but I mean, I need to exercise, and it's mostly cardio, because cardio helps build up your endurance, but it also it helps lower blood pressure. So I mostly just need to do more cardio, like walking, stuff like that, make sure I'm eating right. And then that already, the last time that I did my blood work, brought my insulin levels down so far, especially after fixing my gut, because I take a lot of probiotics and stuff now too. Okay. So after fixing my gut, doing all the stuff that I'm doing, the exercise, all that, it's brought my insulin levels way down. So she's like, oh
nice.
yeah, you're doing good. So like, I have nothing to worry about at the moment, as long as I keep eating right and keep doing what I need to do. Then I'll never have to worry about it. My blood pressure came down. There was a while there where my blood pressure was getting so high that anything that was strenuous, like if I was working out or, running a lot or something like that, like I would literally get headaches, and it felt like something in my brain was going to pop, and it scared the shit out of me. So I was at that point, I was like, okay, I need to go get checked out and see what the hell's going on. And that's what it turned out, is having your gut fucked up, and then having, the whole, like the close to diabetes thing and all that stuff. It's a lot of things that kind of cascade. So one thing creates another problem, which creates another problem, which creates another problem. And it all stemmed from having a fucked up gut.
Yeah. That's huge.
And like the main thing I went to was because I was tired all the time, and the high blood pressure and all that. And when I did the blood work the first time and she looked at all my shit, she goes, okay, so your T is really low. And she specializes in hormone therapy and with helping to cure addiction. Actually, she does a lot of stuff like that. She goes, you're a great candidate for the testosterone replacement, but you are close to, low grade, what is it, diabetes 1 or what, I can't remember, but
pre-diabetes.
Yeah, she's like, you're close to that, and your high blood pressure. We need to do something about that, because I can't in good conscience just put you on testosterone therapy knowing that you have these other issues.
Right. It's not a cure-all.
It's not. Yeah. And so at this point, and I've known all along that if you have a lot of fat around your midsection, for some reason that affects your testosterone and your estrogen levels.
Yep. So way more than fat in other places in your body.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. So if you have a lot of fat around your midsection, for some reason that helps turn testosterone to estrogen. Mm-hmm. So when you ramp up your estrogen, or you ramp up your testosterone, then you start gaining more estrogen. And so the first time I did labs after I started the T, that was when she was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, we need to get you on, an estrogen blocker.
Yep.
So anyway, long story short, this last time that I went, my testosterone is really high and my estrogen is extremely low. So that's why she was saying that it's going to be hard to dial me in, because I'm extremely responsive.
Was it too
to
low?
Things.
Like estrogen was too low?
I don't remember her saying it's too low, but it's probably damn near nothing. Yeah. So I came home and I was telling Amy, I'm like, well, the good news is I'm walking hard on.
You need to have that balance, though. I mean,
Yeah, you do.
Even men are supposed to have some estrogen in
Yeah.
their body.
Yep.
Yeah. That's, yeah. What levels was she trying to keep you at? Do you know?
So she's trying to keep me between 20 and 30 in free T, and then the estrogen, I don't remember.
Do you know like the total T number?
Over 1,300, I think.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Something
good.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's come up a lot in the last, I mean, shit, I've only been going to her for like 6 months. Something like that. Yeah.
It was interesting. The first doctor I had said that, 800 to 1,000 was kind of ideal, which is, I mean, that's great levels.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great levels. But then the doctor I had switched, and my blood work came back at once I finally got like the correct blood work, when it wasn't like 12,000.
Yeah.
Like, it came back at 14 something, and I was like, oh, that's really high, because I remember what the doctor had told me. So I'm like, they're probably going to scale me back, and the doctor's like, no, that's actually like really good.
Yeah. Well, it depends on body type, along with a lot of other things too. Height, weight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of things that factor into what your numbers should be. But I don't think there's really any, specific number that it should be. The way she explained it to me was, yeah, there is a high and there is a low for sure. But as long as you feel good and you have energy and you're not, trying to pick up engine blocks all the time and like hurt yourself, then you're where you should be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're extremely high, then it's almost similar to like doing steroids. You know what I mean? Like you're just fucking aggressive and extremely like crazy and just want to beat the fuck out of every face that you look at.
Yep.
And then if it's way too low, then you're extremely tired all the time. It can cause depression. It has a lot of negative effects. And unfortunately, a lot of guys nowadays are extremely low, lower than they should be.
No, absolutely.
And like most regular doctors that you talk to, they look at a 300 and they're like, oh yeah, you're at a good range. Like, no, because they don't really fucking know. A lot of doctors today just do not know what they're talking about when it comes to hormones.
Yeah. I had it looked at like maybe 4 years ago, and I was in the 4s, and I knew because I had done a little bit of research. I was like, that's really low, but that doesn't hit the threshold of needing replacement therapy. But when I finally
mine was in the 200 range.
So that's what mine was in. It was, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was in the 200s.
Yeah.
And I did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's way low.
But mine stems from my hormones got all fucked up when I had the thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I've been told. The doctor said.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, that just totally fucked me up. And, I wasn't a super unhealthy person. I drink way more now than I ever did then.
Yeah.
Which isn't great, but I was a fairly healthy person at the time. I felt like I was doing most things right. But a 200 testosterone level, like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's far too low.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's just walking around in a haze.
What's the biggest thing you noticed? Like once it
after taking
in?
it?
Yeah. Like physically.
So within the first month, no, actually within the first couple weeks, because it's a weekly injection, just an intramuscular. You're doing it too, but
I have to do it daily. I do it's kind of like microdosing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do
just a little tiny bit
cream,
every day.
With the cream, it was actually twice a day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing, is I didn't want to have to remember to do it twice a fucking day. I was like, fuck that. So I'm doing it's like 0.7 milliliter or whatever.
Yeah, mine is 0.15 daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine is 0.7 every week.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But within the first 2 weeks of doing it, like energy levels way back up. I woke up every morning, even if I had a shitty sleep, I woke up feeling like good, like I tend to snore a lot, because I'm not lactose and I'm probably lactose intolerant. Anytime I drink milk, it stuffs me up so bad. If I eat cheese or I drink milk or eat butter or something like real butter late at night before I go to bed, I sleep like shit because I snore all night and I can't breathe. So I'll wake up in the morning with a headache.
Interesting.
So that's why we switched to, all the plant-based like butter and almond milk and shit like that. But within the first 2 weeks, energy levels way up. My sleep is a lot better. And then just clarity of mind. So like at work and stuff, I can focus better, and decision making, not only just in everyday, like at work and stuff like that, but family life and shit like that, being the man of the house, and, having to say, oh yeah, we're going to pay for that with this credit card and blah, 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 or whatever. Like all of that stuff is way heightened now. And it's just so much easier for me to make decisions on the fly and to be smart about the stuff that I decide.
Yeah. I fully agree. I'm same exact boat. That's
there's no fog hanging around up here,
it's such a subtle thing, but that's it right there. It's just being more of a masculine individual and being able to make decisions and be confident and
and mood
in general and in your decisions.
Mood for sure. Not because I've when your estrogen levels especially, get higher than they're supposed to be, especially if they're really high. Estrogen is what drives more of the emotional cortex in the brain. And so as men, when our estrogen gets too high, we just turn into fucking sniveling little bitches. A lot of what we do is emotionally reactive when our estrogen is too high.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's just how it works. And so I notice, especially up until when I started seeing this doctor and started getting onto the testosterone replacement, like I was in that boat. I was reacting more to a lot of different stuff instead of, the difference between like, reactive and proactive, right? So like my wife would say something just like messing around, as a joke, and I would take it personally and, like,
emotional.
Yeah. And be emotional about it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why am I being emotional? It's just fucking joking. Why am I being a little bitch?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So being on the T has changed that dramatically. Like I don't react to stuff. I'm more of just a hard rock, shit comes at me and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Speaking of hard rocks, did you get that too?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like it's
kind of.
It's almost like being a teenager again.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the first things that she asked me after like the first like follow up. She always asks me, so how's your libido? Well, that's one of the first things she asked me every time.
How's your boner?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And this recent one with my testosterone being so high, I was telling her, I'm like, well, it's great. No problem there, except for the fact that like the first 2 days after I take my injection, I feel like the Incredible Hulk and I just want to like destroy everything in front of me and super fucking horny and just want to pound everything in every sense of that word. And she starts laughing. She's like, yeah, okay, there might be something there. Let me pull up your test results. She's like, whoa, yeah, okay, you're a little bit high. I was like, all right, that explains it. And like, I've been breaking out on my face a lot too. It's been pissing me off, yeah. Because yeah, it's like, and I told her this, I feel like I am 10 years younger. I feel like I'm in my, mid to late 20s.
Yep.
Like all around. And I'm like, fuck, yeah, I hope this lasts forever.
As long as you're on it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's great. I'm hoping to have her on, like, I don't know, maybe fairly soon.
Really?
Yeah, I talked to her about it. Yeah, she was super psyched, but yeah, I don't know if she was just professionally cautious or maybe just nervous or something. I don't know if she's ever done something like this. So she was super psyched about it, but she said she wanted to think about it. And I was like, yeah, take all the time you need.
She probably wants to listen to a few of the episodes.
Yeah, probably. I don't blame her.
Totally understandable. Yeah.
She's a great lady, though. I told her about it, and because she always asks, how you doing, blah, 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 what's going on in life and stuff like that. So I was telling her about it, and she was like, really? And I said, I was like, yeah, be if you ever think about maybe wanting to come on, that'd be cool. I'd love to sit down and talk to you for a while, and especially with, all the stuff that you specialize in and all this. And she was like, yeah, I have a lot to talk about. And I was like, I fucking bet you do.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
The diversity of just subject matter.
Yeah. Well, she's very, very knowledgeable in, I don't know how to put it, like, just the ways of the world and how men are these days, unfortunately, with like plastics and stuff like that. And I can't remember what, God, my brain doesn't work anymore. Whatever it is that's in plastics.
Like BPA?
Well, yeah, BPA is part of it, but plastics give off estrogen, and it's a specific type.
Totally.
Yeah. And so all the plastics that are in the world today and all that estrogen that's floating around, that, I mean, if you test the water anywhere, even in, just this country, you're going to find huge levels of estrogen. And that's because, I mean, that's all the plastics that are in everywhere. And it all ends up in the water. So it's not only everything that we're eating out of, everything is, covered in plastic, but it's also the water that we're drinking. I mean, probably even just in these plastic bottles of water that we're drinking right now.
Right.
So that's one of the huge things that people don't realize is all this estrogen that's floating around. It's not good for men. And so we're eating it, we're drinking it, and it's killing our testosterone levels. And so she's a huge proponent of getting rid of plastics and, I mean, all of this crap.
Yeah, I definitely need to talk to her right now because I'm doing like the whole remote thing. I'm not going through my insurance or anything.
Yeah.
It's about $400 a month.
Yeah.
Which would be nice to cut that back a little bit if she does take insurance.
It depends on the insurance. I know she doesn't take ours, but
yeah. Well,
in my opinion, she's worth every penny.
I need a primary anyway. I don't have a primary, so.
Yeah. Well, and she's only an LP. She's not like a full on doctor, but
I almost prefer that anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, she tries more. She's more holistic. She tries more to get you on a path of health that's more natural, like change a diet, stay away from these kind of things, blah, 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 exercise. I mean, all the shit that you should be doing anyway.
Right.
So that she tries to go more of a natural route first. Like a lot of the stuff that I take is just supplements. I'm on it's called berberine, and that's helps with high blood pressure. It helps keep your blood pressure down. And the whole time she's telling me the first time, I'm like, I had to stop her. I'm like, hold on. Are you saying bird brain? What the fuck are you saying right now? And she like, I swear at her all the time. She's a funny lady. And she's like, haha, no, not bird brain, berberine. I'm like, oh, it sounded like you were saying bird brain. She's like, yeah, you can call it that. I don't fucking care. Like, all right.
Bird brain works wonders.
Yeah. Omega-3s. So that she put me on a high dose of omega-3. I think it was like 2,000 milligrams to start with the first couple months, which I wish I could still do that, but it's so fucking expensive for the good stuff. Because like if you do the Nordic Naturals professional line,
I've used that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the only way to get the high dosage. That's the good stuff. Because I didn't even know this either. She was explaining like the shit that you get from Walmart. I mean, it's okay, but a lot of people are sensitive to it because it's made from like krill oil and like low grade shitty salmon and stuff like that.
Right.
And the other problem is that it sits so long that it actually goes rancid at the factory. It's not fresh, in quotes,
Yeah.
So the problem with that is when it sits there on the shelf and or in the factory and it goes rancid and they still package it up and they go out and it gets to Walmart, when you're taking it, you end up with the fish burps. And I'm one of those people that's extremely sensitive to it. So if I take that shit, I get the fish burps and like really bad heartburn. Like, because I used to take it a long time ago and then I had to stop because I just couldn't stand it anymore. And so after she was telling me all of that, she's like, okay, you need to get this one, like do the Nordic Naturals Pro line. Like, it's good stuff. It actually is fresh. It comes straight from Norway and Sweden and all that, where they catch everything fresh. And
how much is it?
Oh, fuck. It's in the realm of like 45 to, I mean, it could be $60, I think, for like one of the big bottle. It's like 60 gels or something. It's expensive.
Like one a day, or?
I take 2 a day.
2 a day.
Yeah.
So a 30-day supply.
Yeah. So even on the 2,000 milligrams, I was taking 2 a day, and I still take 2 a day, but it's way lower. So I should probably be taking like 3 or 4.
I don't know the quality of the one I take. It's Kirkland brand. It has the correct ratios that they say are like ideal of omega-3 to omega-6. Yeah. It's wild Alaskan caught salmon. I don't know how good it is, but I also eat a lot of fish. Like, I eat more fish than I do chicken or beef or anything else.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, if you're substituting good fish in your diet along with, the supplement, then you'll get quite a bit of omega-3s out of that too.
Yeah, I eat a lot of salmon and a lot of I'm weird. I eat anchovies and sardines and like
So fucking gross.
Lots of fatty fish like that. Ugh. I know.
I can do salmon and halibut and cod, but when you start getting into the can of sardines, it's so gross. Yeah. I don't know why. And I can eat tuna out of a can.
That's totally different.
I know.
Tuna is like very mild and not very fatty, but
yeah,
sardines are like very distinct flavor.
Yeah. Well, I have found though that even with tuna, it has to be white albacore, because if it's just like the low grade shitty bumblebee, tuna in water, same thing, fish burps and heartburn. So it has to be weird. It has to be white albacore.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just somebody that's real sensitive to it for some reason. It's very odd.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but thankfully Costco sells giant packs of it. So, but Kirkland, yeah, the Costco brand of stuff. Kirkland usually go through good producers to get a lot of their stuff. Like if you actually pay attention to packaging and stuff, you'll find a lot of things, especially produce, is already like non-GMO and freshly grown, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's not broadcasted everywhere. Like if you go to Safeway or Super Ones or something like that, they have the organic grown section, right? And then they have where all the regular shit is. And of course, everything in the organic section always costs more, but a lot of stuff at Costco is, locally grown, and it's non-GMO and organic and all that.
I used to be one of those people who kind of made fun of that and didn't think that it was.
Yeah, so was I.
But then when you really like look into it, it's really, I mean, the stuff that is in our food supply is horrible.
Yeah, it's fucking gross.
I work for an organic non-GMO company, and when you really see like what's out there and what's in our stuff, like, it's not great. Yeah.
Again, people don't realize how much gut health is important to your health and how you feel and your immune system and all that stuff. It's crazy. And I mean, whatever, I get it. I'm only newly learning all this stuff too, but it blew my fucking mind when I found out. Just all the cheeseburgers and crap that I've been eating my whole life like wrecked my fucking gut.
Yeah.
So my biome is screwed up, and so yeah, this is what you end up with.
Yep. That's what I'm worried about right now. I'm on antibiotics right now, which, by the way, so I had an eye infection. The stuff, like when I would go to sleep at night, like the sleep that comes out, you call it sleep, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. The crusty shit on your eyes?
The crusty shit that comes out of my eyes had like a weird bacteria in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was causing this, like these red bumps underneath my eye and around my eye. It's been going on for a long time. I couldn't figure out what it was. They put me on a steroid cream. Well, it turns out we were talking about the testosterone cream. The main cause of something like that is exposure to like a hormonal, like a basic, like a steroid cream.
So you're rubbing the cream and using that, and
unknowingly,
then, right? And then
I would wash my hands, but like I said, it stays. There's a portion of it that's on there, and when I look back, I'm like, oh, it started to like pop up around that same time. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, we all do it. You just rub your eyes or whatever when you get tired, or your eyes are dry or something. Yeah, so that makes sense.
But it just got, so I was on, which is funny because the thing that they prescribed to me was like a steroid, like a cortisone type cream to put on it. So when I'd have something, it would just be like a little, red bump or something. So I'd use that cream, and it got way worse. I ran out of that cream, and it just got like horrible. Like I looked like I'd been in a crazy fight. I just had all this redness around my eyes and stuff. So I made an appointment at the dermatologist, and they said,
like a raccoon with pink eye?
Yeah, it was weird. Like worse than it's ever been. And it's been going on a couple of years. And they said that I needed to go on antibiotics. And I was like, okay, well, like, is there any sort of, like, I brought the empty tube of the stuff I had been using. I was like, do I need this? Because it seems to help. And they're like, oh, who gave you that? I was like, another doctor in your office? They're like, yeah, I mean, that stuff can help a little bit temporarily, but it actually makes it worse in the long run. And then when you stop using it, it makes it like you have a huge, like it's making it way worse. Like, well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I ran out and then all of a sudden it just like blew up on my face. But they said the only cure was like 2 months of antibiotics. And I'm like, that doesn't sound good to me, because I'm aware of how important gut health is and how
Yeah.
bad antibiotics are for your gut.
Yeah.
I understand they're necessary sometimes. So I'm on week 2 right now, and I'm taking like massive amounts of probiotics to
Yeah, I was gonna say
to
get
counteract that.
what is it, the Activa yogurt and probiotic
I
blends
mean,
and all kinds of stuff.
and I've done that already. Like, I'll make sure I eat Greek yogurt, and I eat
Yeah.
like real sauerkraut that has like fermented and has probiotics, and I take a probiotic every day. But I'm just making sure that like it's every fucking day that I'm getting several sources of probiotics while I'm on it,
Yeah.
because I'm terrified of that. I've heard horror stories from people that like you can permanently screw up your microbiome. Like, there's a point of no return where you can
Yep.
just like totally
Yeah, you
screw
fuck it up enough and you just can't get it back.
Yep.
Yeah, or at least it takes an extremely long time, and then it's not only uncomfortable, but it fucks up a lot of stuff
Yeah.
on that journey back to good gut health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was sick for the first week. I'm just like, I almost gave up and was like, no, it's working so far. I mean,
Good.
for the purpose that they gave it to me for the eye stuff. So, but 2 months, I don't know if I'm going to make it 2 months, because it's just terrifying to me. We'll see.
Yeah, she put me on the Saccharomyces boulardii. It's like the five. It's the probiotic that's
Okay.
like it's one of the best ones that you can get, I guess. And it's like 5 billion cultures or whatever in one little pill. Like the first few weeks that I started taking it, I got like just really bad bubble guts. So like I take it at night before bed, because I have it took me a while to get used to it, but I have the pill regiment that I'm on. Like there's some that I have to take with food, and then some that I'm not supposed to take with food, and then one that I can take whenever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So I had to figure out how to like time everything so that, because I'll eat something for breakfast, and then I don't eat lunch most of the time. I just go until it's dinner time. So trying to figure out the right timing for all this and when to take these ones and not these ones, and that was a fucking pain in the ass. But I take the probiotic at night before bed, and I don't know if that affects anything, but I wake up in the morning just like farting so bad. And
Yeah.
my guts are just bubbling.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm probably going to the bathroom every time I eat, which is good. Like basically everything is
Yeah,
just
me too.
leveled off and normal, like what it should be with any normal person.
Right.
And it used to be, it's going to the crapper maybe once every couple of days. It's like, yeah, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't a red flag for me to be like, oh, I should probably go to a fucking doctor, because I hate doctors. Like, this lady's the only doctor that I've ever been to that I'm like, fuck, I could sit here all day and talk to her. And that's usually like what half the appointment is just us bullshit and talking about stuff. She's just an interesting lady.
Yeah. I have the link saved in my phone right now. I need to give her a call.
Yeah, you should definitely give her a call. So, Timothy, when we left off last, you were telling one of your trucker stories. We were talking about lot lizards. And I was talking about how I would love to have a lot lizard on, just to, I guess, probe, no pun intended, and talk about how the hell she got to be a lot lizard. But I was thinking about it, and I think before that, you had ventured into hedge fund management.
Yeah. I tried. Yeah. That was a crazy one.
And I don't remember if we ever talked about it before, but I was thinking, how the hell did that cross your mind? How did you even get into that?
I really don't know. I had started trading foreign exchange and made a ridiculous amount of money in a relatively short amount of time.
Oh yeah, that was with the currency exchange, right?
Yeah, foreign exchange trading. And I had just spent a ton of time like studying it and learning it. The one thing I didn't learn is how to not over leverage yourself. So I made a ton of money. I won't say the amount, but I made a ton of money very quickly. And I was like, oh, well, if I'm this good at this, like it being a young, like cocky
Yeah.
kid, I think I was probably 25 or something. Um, I could, I could totally own, like run my own hedge fund. So I went through the whole thing and like got licensed and
Yeah,
did the
you
whole
had your
thing.
SEC license, right?
Yeah. Um, but I was just stupid. Like I didn't realize, like I lost it as quick as I gained it because I was over leveraged. That's why I was making, because with the foreign exchange market, you can leverage yourself. I don't know what it is now because I haven't messed with it in a while, but at the time it was 100 to 1. And while I was doing it, they actually, the Dodd-Frank Act, they reduced it down to 50 to 1. But that's still an insane amount of leverage that you can use. And I don't remember how much leverage I was using at the time, but there were some times like where I was like certain in my decisions that I was getting pretty close to that 50 to 1. Basically meaning you can take $1,000 and trade it as if it's $50,000.
Jesus.
So
Which is probably a lot harder now, considering that the U.S. dollar, I'm sure, is fucking garbage.
well, it didn't really, with foreign exchange trading, it doesn't matter. You just have to know which way a currency is going. You just have to spot the trend and play certain. What I would do is, play certain chart signals and things like that.
It's basically the stock market, but instead of playing with commodities, you're playing with money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and yeah, I made a ton of money and got very cocky very quickly, and then lost a ton of money really quickly.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, yeah. What I should have done is had better money management skills, and first of all, not leverage. I wouldn't have made as much money, but the fact that I did make that much money, I should have been like, okay, I got really lucky. I need to like take
Yeah.
this money out and then start over with reasonable amounts of leverage. But I didn't.
Yeah, I think any investment situation like that, everybody's always looking for the get rich quick. I mean, unless you're doing it on your own, I think it's always best to just lean towards caution and you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's maturity and wisdom after
Yeah.
you know being in our late 30s now. Like that, it totally makes sense. But
You learned a
then,
lot though,
back
right?
then I was like, where the fuck? Like this is fucking easy.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't everybody else doing this? But one good thing that came out of that is I was able to take that money because I did still have some money left over, not much,
Yeah.
like probably like 5% of what I had made, but I was able to buy a truck and start my trucking business. So that's what I did with that. Because after I lost all that money, I was just like, I'm fucking, and the whole thing with my ex-wife, and I was like, I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I had enough money to go start a new life, basically.
So, doing the trucking, how many times did you go around the country?
Um, I don't know. So I did it for my home base. I started it up here, but my base was out of Southern California because that's where all my family was,
Yeah.
besides you and Mariah. Yeah, but my ex-wife was up here, so like I avoided up here until she had left. Um, so my base was Southern California. I did it for about 2 years, and my typical schedule, and it varied quite a bit, but it would be like 3 to 4 weeks on the road and then like a week or two back home. So I don't know, probably at least a couple dozen times, probably, just back and forth. And it varied. Like there, I would just look for someone. I would start out like, okay, I'm gonna get back on the road. I would look for something to pick up relatively near Southern California, wherever it was going, and then I would just go from there.
Hmm.
So once you're, on your way to a destination, say it's Dallas, Texas, then on the way, I did my own like load booking and everything. So I would start looking for a load within a certain radius of Dallas, Texas, with no agenda on where I was going, just anything that fit my criteria for what I could haul. Then I would have something lined up for when I dropped off that load in Dallas, and then I would go wherever it took me.
Hmm.
And I just played it kind of free like that and went all over. The only places I didn't go during that time, I never went to South Dakota or North Dakota. I've been to both of those places now. working in the oil field. I worked in North Dakota, and when I lived in Colorado, it wasn't far from South Dakota, so I went there, and the far New England states.
Hmm.
But everything else I've been to.
So like Maine and
Yeah, I actually had a load going. I can't remember where in Maine, but somewhere like pretty deep in Maine to one of the ports. And I was really excited about going, but it got canceled at the last minute. So that would have taken me through all of the states that I hadn't been to.
nice.
So I would have had like all of the states at that point, but still to this day, Connecticut was the farthest like into New England I ever went.
Did you ever make it to Florida, like the Keys?
No, so I went to Florida, but the farther I never. It was like the tip of Florida, Jacksonville.
Okay.
I went to Jacksonville a couple times. The weird thing about Florida is there's not much. So when you're in the trucking industry, you're obviously going to areas where they produce something that they are shipping out. Florida, at least at that time, I don't know how it is now, but they didn't produce.
They don't have a lot of factories and stuff.
Yeah, the trucking industry out of Florida was really weird. So it would pay really well to go into Florida, but the loads coming out of Florida didn't pay anything. But which is why you had to, because it's all supply and demand.
Right.
A truck driver who's doing this knows that I'm going to have to get paid more to go to Florida because I know that anything I get out coming out of Florida is not going to pay anything.
Yeah, they produce a lot of old retired people.
That's exactly what it is. It's such a retirement state, and this area was the same way. If you remember, I ended up here one time. I dropped off a load in Spokane, and I was looking for a load for 2 weeks while I stayed with you guys.
Oh yeah, that's
I
when
couldn't
we had
find
to fix
anything.
your trailer, right?
I was looking for anything even that would break even just to get me back in the mix, like back in
Yeah.
the heart of the country or the East Coast where I could, but I couldn't find anything. I don't remember what it ended up being or what I took, but I probably had to drive quite a ways to find it. Yeah, this way, I don't know if it's different now. We have a little more industry now, so I don't know.
Yeah, we use a lot of private haul guys where I work at. We have quite a few that come through, and it's usually like a small crate or like we have a company that we work with a lot that'll come and pick up a finished truck or a chassis or something like that, and they take it out, whether it's going to the East Coast or it's going to Wyoming or something like that. But a lot of times we have to take all the tires off for height and stuff like that, because they put it on a lowboy. But if you put it on a lowboy on blocks, and then you hook it up, the tires are still going to touch the ground because they're so fucking huge.
Right.
So we end up having to take them off. And a lot of times we'll use, a small private hauler to take the tires wherever the hell they're supposed to go.
Yeah,
we have a lot of them.
sense.
We had one guy that came, and he was an owner operator, and he had the biggest fucking semi I've ever seen. The truck itself, not even the trailer, just the tractor, was probably total somewhere in the realm of 35 to 40 feet long. And he had
Just the tractor?
Just the tractor.
Do you have like a huge like condo sleeper?
Yep. Huge. Like it was basically like taking a 20-some foot trailer and taking the wheels off of it and mounting it right behind the cab. It was huge. Like, I mean, the guy lives on the road. He probably doesn't even have a house.
I've seen those only from the outside. That probably attracts a lot of lizards.
Yeah, right.
That guy's got an apartment on there.
Right. That's clean living.
No, I've seen like
I didn't get to like take a tour of it or see inside of it really. I just poked my head in, I was trying not to be invasive, but I wanted to see, so I poked my head in. I'm like, "Hey, what are you here to pick up, guy?" And just looking around.
I've seen videos, kind of like a MTV Cribs episode,
but
with truck sleepers.
Yep.
Of some of those things, and they're like pretty elaborate.
Yeah,
they're pretty much like you said, like travel trailers,
like a sweet dinette with a Murphy bed that folds down over it, and then like a full kitchen and a couch and all kinds of stuff. They're fucking insane what they fit into these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy was a pain in the ass because our yard's not that big. And so pulling in with that tractor plus his trailer, it was hard for him to get moved around. And he was getting all pissed off. And it's like, well, what do you expect, man? This yard's not that big. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
But he's getting all pissy.
Yeah, truck drivers, I've seen it so many times, whether I'm like at a place with other truck drivers getting loaded or the worst is at like DOT stops, like way stations and stuff.
Yeah,
Like truck drivers can get pretty fucking angry.
I imagine. Yeah, Amy's had to deal with a lot of them working in wholesale. That last place that she was at.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw one of their trucks the other day. I'd never seen one around town, but I saw one the other day.
I know, right? I've never seen him either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to take a pee break.
Do you? All right. And we're back. Had to pee, had to pee.
And eat taco.
I need a taco. A real taco.
Yeah.
Not a pink taco.
All right. Where were we?
We were just talking about trucker stuff.
Ah, yeah.
So I'm a big traveler. I love traveling. I love seeing new shit.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest, like your trucker time, I'm kind of jelly of.
Dude, that was probably my second biggest motivation in that whole thing. Like my first one we talked about last time is I just wanted to get away from my ex-wife.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a way I could make a living, and
It was a means to an end.
yeah, exactly. It was a means to an end. But
Yeah.
I was really excited because I had traveled a little bit, like there were certain places I had been growing up to like go see Randy when he was in prison. But other than that, there was a lot of places I hadn't been. So I was really excited about seeing different parts of the country. Like I had never been in the South. I'd never been on the East Coast besides like Pennsylvania, like in the little rural area in Pennsylvania where he was for a while. So I was excited to see everything. And it was really cool. Like it was fucking awesome. And I loved it. After a couple of years though, once I had seen everything several times, it kind of
Got old.
Yeah,
Being on the road all the
it
time
lost
and-
like the allure of that.
Yeah, I imagine it does. Well, I mean, it's fun meeting new people, seeing new stuff, going places you've never been, all that. But to just be on the fucking road constantly, all the time,
Yeah.
I can see how that would get old pretty quick.
Well, look at like
I mean, unless it's something that you live for. I mean, there's people that are like they fucking live on the road. It's like that Ronnie Millsap song, you know?
and I felt like I was that way for a while. I definitely had that in me, and a lot of people like would ask me like,
song.
"How can you?" Are we good?
Yeah. I'm just looking up that song because
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember what it is, and it's a fucking great song.
A lot of people would ask me like, "How do you stay in the truck for 11 hours a day?" I was like, honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. Like the scenery is constantly changing. I did some of the best, deepest thinking that I've ever done in my life, like introspective, just figuring stuff out. I mean, I would do that for, all day long, just think about stuff. Still to this day, like,
Yeah, just be able to be in your own head with your thoughts and stuff while you're on the road.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I could see how that would be awesome. And that's kind of like how it is when I'm out riding, like when I'm on my bike, and it's kind of a pro and a con. I got MRI went and she bought us new helmets at one point, like a couple years ago, and they have the built-in comms and stuff. So it's cool because instead of having to throw hand signals up and shit that she doesn't understand if I need to stop for some reason, we can just talk to each other if we need to. You hit a button and then and you just say what you need to say. So that part's cool. And then you can also listen to music and stuff. But it does kind of suck because I find myself more often than not listening to tunes instead of just having the wind in my face and thinking. But yeah, it's great to be doing that.
Well, I had my truck model was 2001. It was a very basic model.
Yeah, I remember it was like a Ford work truck, right? It was a 450 or a 550.
It was a F350, 7.3 liter, but the work truck package, like very basic. It had an AM FM radio and nothing else.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I could, had a smartphone that I could like listen to podcasts or music on. So it was literally like if there was nothing good on the radio, or I didn't feel like listening to the radio, or there was no reception wherever I was, like it was just me and my thoughts. And still to this day, people like if somebody new is traveling in my car with me, like, can you turn on the radio? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I was just like, I get lost in my own thoughts while I'm driving.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just
used
a
to
habit.
it. You
Yeah.
never have the fucking radio on.
Yep. Yeah. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah. That's just,
anytime we've gone somewhere, like you never have the radio on, which is fine because we're usually with the girls and they're like talking and
right. It's not that I
chit-chatting.
never do. It's just like,
yeah,
sometimes I just like kind of get in that zone and don't even think about it.
which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I probably should turn the radio off a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is that song I was talking about.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, I love this song. My old boss, he was a big country guy, and so we always had like what is it, 102.3 country station on like all the time. This is one of the songs that they played pretty often. Yeah, I don't want to play too much of it, but it's a great song. Ronnie Millsap is a good singer.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know for the longest time that he was actually blind. And then once I found out about it and I heard Stranger in My House, that was a great song. Just for the fact that he's singing, there's a stranger in my house, somebody here that I can't see.
Yeah.
And then
it makes more sense.
Yeah. And then once I found out he's blind, oh, okay. Yeah. It's fucking funny.
Have you heard all the rumors? I don't know if the rumors is the right word, but there's like videos going around of like all these different celebrities talking about Stevie Wonder. They like, so many people are like, yeah, that dude's not blind.
Oh, they think he's not blind?
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder deniers?
Yeah, but it's like people who know him, like people that are close to him or even just people like other celebrities who have met him. They're like, yeah, that dude's not blind. And people like ask him, come on, like tell us the truth. Are you not blind? And he like never answers the question directly.
Well, I mean, if he is blind, I'd have to imagine that's a pretty rude fucking question.
But yeah, that's a good point.
Think of it this way, though. Like, I would have to imagine that, especially if you've been blind your whole life. I don't know what his story is. I've never like looked him up or anything. But I would imagine that your other senses get a little bit heightened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there's probably a way that they learn just to be aware of their world, you know? Like, so sometimes, it's kind of like that movie, The Book of Eli. Like, he was fucking blind, but nobody knew. Right? You kind of thought like through the whole movie, you're like, is this dude fucking blind? And then it turns out he is, but you'd never know it because he knows where everybody is and like, he can kill people and all this stuff.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like, you probably just get good at reading the world using the senses that you have. And if you can't see, then you can probably, I would imagine, you get used to tuning in your ears a little bit better and you can hear somebody's footsteps to your right. So you know that there's somebody to the right of you.
And that would explain maybe like one of the more convincing stories on that I heard. I want to say it was Mike Tyson, but I could be completely wrong about that.
Mike Tyson?
But he had never met Stevie Wonder, but he was like alone. And again, I don't know if it was Mike Tyson. It was somebody like very famous. And Mike Tyson definitely had one of those stories. If it was him on this one, I don't know. But never met Stevie Wonder before. He's in an elevator and Stevie Wonder walks in. It's just the two of them. And Stevie Wonder looks and goes, "Hey, Mike Tyson, nice to meet you." And Mike Tyson's like, how the fuck does he know who I am?
Yeah, that'd be creepy.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody in his entourage like told him,
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's,
you never know.
Mike Tyson's staying on your floor or something.
You never know. But there was so many
guess.
stories like that where people were like, yeah, he definitely like, he was looking right at me and knows who I am.
Yeah, that's interesting. What if he was lying this like whole fucking time? Like he's not blind.
There's a whole look it up. There's a whole big conspiracy theory
Okay,
about
now
it.
I gotta look it up. I can't not. Would you even say? Is Stevie Wonder blind?
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, look at that. So the first thing that pops up in the search bar is Stevie Wonder blind. Is Stevie Wonder really blind? Truth behind rumors after... what is this? Caught mic stand dropped by Paul McCartney.
Yeah, this is probably just one story, but there's tons of them.
Oh, it's going to go through his whole life story. Oh, how did he lose his eyesight? Blah, 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 blah. Does he actually play music? Rumors about his eye condition. Where that is.
Oh, go back up. It may have been Shaquille O'Neal. I just saw his name. It could have been him in the elevator.
Where? Keep going.
Yeah, keep going up. Yeah. In 2019, Shaquille O'Neal spoke about how Wonder noticed him when he stood silently near the musician. Oh, different story, but similar. In an episode of Inside NBA, he recounted the incident, stating that when he stood next to Wonder, who promptly greeted him by saying, "What's up, Shaq? How you doing, big dog?" Even though O'Neal didn't alert him of his presence. Even Lionel Richie spoke about how he believes the singer can see, and spoke about the same on the Kelly Clarkson show. But there's like a compilation video of like dozens of celebrities talking about incidences like that. But you know, the heightened senses thing could explain some of that, but that's like really fucking impressive.
Yeah.
But you know, he's an impressive individual. If he truly is blind and can do what he's done, he's an impressive individual no matter what. So could be.
He's a good fucking singer.
P. Diddy once said that Wonder was able to describe an outfit that he had. Oh, that's a little odd. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Now you got me wondering. I'm gonna have to look up that video at some point. See if Stevie Wonder can see or not. I was never like a huge Stevie Wonder fan, but he has some great fucking music.
Yeah, it does.
I did notice though, so Die Hard, the greatest Christmas movie ever made, and everybody listening who doesn't agree that it's a Christmas movie, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, fuck you.
The kid that gives him a ride in the limo, like he ends up in the basement, right? And he's just hanging out in the limo like the whole fucking movie, waiting for Bruce Willis to call him and be like, "Yeah, I'm ready to leave." And well, he gets locked in there, but he's listening to the same Stevie Wonder song all night. The next time you watch it, every time they show him in the back of the limo, like he's talking on the phone to all these chicks and all this stuff, and like, you know, drinking from the bar and all this. Every scene that they show him in through the entire movie, he's listening to the same exact Stevie Wonder song. Skeletons in the Closet.
Interesting.
I never noticed that until I think it was last year when I was watching it, and I can't remember why, but I had gone on a Stevie Wonder kick and I wanted to learn more about him and listen to more of his music, so I was checking it out. And then, you know, a few weeks later, I ended up watching that, and I just happened to notice it.
Interesting. I don't know that actor's name, but I feel like I heard something about him relatively recently in the news.
Who, the kid that was in the limo?
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know his name either. So real quick, what's the best experience that you had while you were on the road?
The best experience. Last time I told you about like the funniest experience.
Yeah, the lot lizard.
Stripper.
Oh yeah, the stripper. Yeah.
Gosh.
You know what I mean? Like the most memorable or profound. I mean, not just the funny stripper thing.
There was a lot of good memories. I can't really think of just one in particular. I learned a lot and I experienced a lot doing that. But I would say just as a whole, just learning more about how to be self-sufficient because I was completely independent and had to do everything on my own. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know, even like about, fixing trucks and fixing trailers and, or just being in like an emergency situation. I blew a steer tire one time hauling a load of pipe through Alabama.
Nice.
I think it was Alabama or Arkansas. And literally, like I thought I was gonna die when I heard the tire blow because I just started like going off the highway, but I made it, and just having to go through that and like I remember when it happened, I heard the tire blow, and it was my front right, and I just started going off the highway.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa, and I didn't panic. I didn't try to counter steer at all. I just held the wheel as hard as I could. And as I veered off the highway, I mean, I had, 20,000 pounds of pipe on my trailer too, and didn't hit the brakes or anything like that. As soon as I got on the grass, I very gently started to brake, and I put it in neutral, and everything ended up fine. But before I got out to figure out what I needed to do, which was I changed the tire, I sat there for probably 10 minutes, just like my heart beating fast, just like I didn't want to move.
It'd peel your fingers off the
Yeah, I just
fucking
sat there
steering
like,
wheel.
holy shit. It's hard to describe like in words what that feels like when you're hauling that much weight, like going down the highway at 70 miles an hour. But it was a scary fucking thing. But just things like that, like knowing, like learning stuff about yourself that in situations like that, that you can do the thing that you know how to do. Like in theory, like not to counter steer and not to panic and stuff like that, but to know that you would actually do that in a time with that much adrenaline going. And I don't know, just good life lessons all around. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had a similar experience like that when I was running tow truck. So what happened was my boss at the time, he decided that he wanted to be a contractor and like build houses and stuff. Okay, cool. And so like to save some money, he, instead of having stuff delivered and, or going and picking it up himself or like renting trucks, he just had me, because he was the owner operator of the shop that I worked at. So he had me running our tow truck over to Coeur d'Alene and picking up building supplies, wood, lumber, all that stuff. And I didn't blow a tire, but one day I was coming back over 4th of July Pass, and I was on the valley side and coming down the hill, and it's like one of the last, I think it was the third corner before you get to the bottom. And I went to go, and it's kind of my fault because I went to go around a guy that was in front of me that was going kind of slow. And I had like, I think almost 14,000 pounds of drywall on the bed. And so I went to go around him, but I didn't look in my mirror first. And so just as I went to go get over, I look, and this little tiny white car came out of nowhere in my mirror. And I had already started accelerating. And so I had to jerk the wheel back over, and I slammed on the brakes, and they weren't air brakes. It was just hydraulic. But when I hit the brakes, my boss didn't really keep up on maintenance on the truck. And I slammed on the brakes, and the front right brake rotor snapped. So that the rotor came off of the hub and was just stuck. So I'm slamming on the brakes. And when that happens, right, there's no brake power now on the right-hand side. So all of it is on the left. So I'm swerving to the right to avoid this car. I slam on the brakes. The brake rotor snaps, which instantly throws the whole front of the truck back over to the left. So twice I almost slammed into this little car that was next to me. And I'm like, wow. And now I'm already picking up speed with all this weight on the back. So this guy in front of me who's, going like 55 in a 70 or whatever it was, I think it was 65, but I'm now creeping up on his ass. I've got this little car next to me that I'm trying not to hit. And every time I hit the brakes, it's jerking the fucking wheel to the left and wanting to just plow this little car. And so I'm like freaking the fuck out. Like, I don't want to pull the e-brake and fucking smoke the rears. So I slammed it down into a lower gear, and I'm just tapping on the brakes and holding onto the fucking wheel as hard as I can so I'm not hitting this little car. Because for some reason, like everybody does, he fucking got up next to me and then just sat there. He didn't fucking actually pass. So I'm lucky. The guy in front of me is lucky. The guy next to me all got fucking lucky. And I limped it all the way back to the shop. And then I told him, I don't give a fuck what you do, but I'm not driving that truck again until you fix it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it was a big fucking deal.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was scary shit. Yeah, that was probably my least funnest time on that truck, next to assholes that I would pick up in the middle of the night that, like, they call you for a tow, right? And if you're calling for a tow truck in the middle of the night, it's not going to be cheap. You should just know that right off the bat, right? But everybody and their grandmother expects you to just be some nice guy that's going to give you a free tow and like help you out because they're in a bad spot. Like, no, dickhead, this is my job. This is what I get paid to do. Like, there ain't no free ride.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of people that'd show up, and after hours, it was $150 just to show up.
Right.
Like, that's what you owe. And we could technically write a bill for that and bill you for it. And if you don't pay it, it could go against your credit if we really wanted to go that far.
Right.
So it's $150 just to show up after hours. And then you've got X amount per mile that you have to pay for fuel. If you wrecked the car and I have to use anything, equipment wise to get you out of a ditch, like snatch blocks or pulleys and stuff like that, I can charge you for each individual piece of equipment, which most of the time I didn't do because I was trying to help people, but I had so many people that would throw a fucking fit when I would get their car to where they're going and then tell them what the bill was going to be. It's like, dude, you called me. What do you want? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's no free ride.
Yeah. It costs what it costs.
Yeah. I had one guy, I showed up at his house, and like when I told him what the bill was going to be, he like got really confrontational with me. Like he didn't throw punches or anything, but he was in my face and like yelling at me. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done. Like, you can pick up your car at the lot. And he was like, what, you're not going to drop my shit off? And I go, are you going to pay? And he's like, I'm not paying your bullshit bill. And I go, then you're not getting your car.
Then you have an impound bill now too.
Yep. Yeah. So I left with his car and I had to drop it in the shop, which, you know, took extra time for me because it's midnight, after midnight. And then he ended up getting charged a storage fee and a bunch of other shit.
Fees, yeah.
It's like, if he'd have just been nice to me, I actually might have helped him out. But, you know, he copped an attitude and started being a dick. And I was really like, okay, well, fuck you now.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people like that. We had this this stick, this long, like hickory stick thing. And we just used it to wedge the accelerator pedal with the seat to ramp up the PTO when we were running the hydraulics for the bed and all that.
Yeah.
That's all it was for. And it got to the point where I had so many people that would get in my face that I started taking that stick after I got the car loaded and I would throw it up under my arm, you know, when I'd get out with my clipboard to tell them what the price is going to be. Yeah, dude, swing on me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Please do it. I had one guy, I think it might have been that guy whose car I took back, but one guy really kind of scared me. And that was when I went to my boss and I said, hey, I'm going to get my concealed carry permit and I'm going to start keeping a pistol in the truck. And at first he was like, what? Why would you do that? And I told him about this guy and he was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess. I don't know if my insurance is going to cover it, but I can understand where you're coming from. And I go, yeah. I'm not working at night anymore in the truck without carrying. That's all there is to it. So you can either take the phone back and do the tows yourself, or I'm going to carry. And of course he wasn't going to do the tows himself. So
did you ever do any impounds or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we did impounds all the time.
That's where I feel like it would probably be the most dangerous.
No, actually, those were the least dangerous because impounds, because we were on rotation. So you would get calls from either county or state and sometimes like city cops, but not very often. But they would call you and like 9 out of 10 times it was a DUI. So in the middle of the night, I'd get called up and it was, it had to be within either a certain amount of miles or within a half an hour that you could get to wherever it is that they would call you. So I would get a call. I'd have to throw on some pants, and I lived a block away from the shop. So the truck was always there. So I would just run over, jump in the truck, take off. But it's usually after 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? When all the drunks leave the bar. And then you get there and it was 50-50. Like sometimes the cop would still be there and he'd just be finishing up his report and be ready to leave. And so he'd be like, yeah, you'd have someone kind of blocking traffic for you while you load it up. And then the other half of the time they had already left and it's up to you in the middle of the night on the side of the highway to, in the emergency lane, sometimes taking up 2-3 feet in the slow lane to hook up this rig and get it off. That was the only scary part, was when the cops left and I had to hook up myself, because even with my beacon light going, no one fucking gets over for tow trucks because people just don't seem to think that they're emergency vehicles when they are. It's the same as a construction vehicle. It's the same as an ambulance. It's the same as a cop car. If there's a beacon light going on the side of the road, get the fuck over and slow down. But nobody ever did for a tow truck. So I had one that scared the shit out of me. I pull up, the cop had already left, and I back up and I'm as close to the rail as I can get without damaging the truck. And I start up, the hydraulics, and I get the bed down because it had controls on both sides. So I'm leaning over the guardrail trying to push the controls on the bed because I didn't want to be in the road. But I get the bed down and I had to go hook it up. So I'm on the ground and I'm like trying to stick my head down the bed underneath the front of the car so I can get the hooks onto the suspension to drag it up. and I just can't get it. I can't quite reach. So I go over to the side where the guardrail is and had to reach under the guardrail, crawl under, get my hook on that side. And then the other side, I'm like half lying in the road and I'm trying to like get this hooked up, and I just hear a lot of noise coming, and it was a fucking semi. And I look, like I tip my head up and I look around the side of the car, and there's two of them. They're side by side and they're coming straight my way.
Jeez.
So they're not going to be able to get over, right? They're neck and neck. And I was like, fuck, just reaching under, trying to get the hook on. And then just as I hear him coming, I threw my leg up against the car real quick. And I swear that semi went past me like 12 inches from me.
Jeez.
Just right past me. And if I hadn't moved my leg, I wouldn't have one.
Wow.
It scared the fuck out of me. I hooked that thing up as quick as I could, got it on the truck. I didn't even finish like tying the rear end of the car down. I just got it up on with the front hooks and put the parking brake on it in the car because the cop had left the keys there, thankfully. And I just went down to the next exit and then strapped the car down.
Right.
I was like,
wanted to get the
fuck this. I want off this road.
Yeah.
It was shit like that. That was the thing that scared the piss out of me that I didn't like about it. It was good money, you know, because I think I got half of whatever the hookup cost was, the initial, you know, what it cost for showing up. And then he would give me a percentage of any incidentals, you know, fuel, stuff like that.
It's a rough life though, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it is. What I hated most about it was hanging on to that tow phone, because like you can't go anywhere. You can't like go to the bar and have a couple drinks, you know, you can't do anything because you have to be sober and you have to be within a certain range of that tow truck at all times so that you can get there, fire it up, and get where you need to go within a certain amount of time.
Yep. That's exactly how my job was in Colorado. So leading from when I was a truck driver, I was a dumbass and ended up getting back with my ex-wife. She was at this point in San Diego with her parents. So I moved from San Diego to San Diego and was there about a year, I think. Just got a job delivering packages locally. And we were living with her parents, and it was just a fucking miserable time. The whole time I was trying to get her to like leave, and I started looking into working in the oil field because obviously if I was going to be back with her, being a truck driver on the road just wasn't the reason I'd started doing it was to get away from her.
Yeah, it
and
wasn't conducive to a healthy marriage.
Yeah, and that was something we talked about. It was one of the stipulations. So I was like, well, where can I make decent money as a truck driver that's not long haul? So I started looking into the oil field, and we were looking at like Texas and Oklahoma. And I had no idea at the time that Colorado had an oil field. It was actually like booming at that point. So it was like I had been looking for a couple months at different things and talking to different companies.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Like I've always known about North Dakota and stuff, but I didn't know Colorado has a big oil boom.
Yeah, I was never interested in North Dakota just because I've heard so many horror stories. But being in Colorado, I ended up working in North Dakota quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was looking at like Texas or Oklahoma, like thinking long term, like I could live in those places, you know. But then I found Colorado, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm kind of more of a mountain guy anyway. I've been through Colorado as a truck driver. It seemed like a pretty cool state.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's beautiful. I was like, oh, there's an oil field in Colorado. So I literally I applied for a bunch of the Colorado oil field jobs that I found, and they were so desperate for people. I applied for like CDL driving jobs. They were so desperate for people. Like people were hiring me like just based off of an application. Like, when can you start? Like,
just
hired.
The fact that
you're hired. When can you start?
You put in an application and you had a CDL.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a clean driving record and all that. So I was like, well, I didn't take any of the like initial jobs that were offered to me. It was just had to become a conversation. Like, hey, we have all these jobs. Like, let's move to Colorado. So we decided we're going to move to Colorado. So sold everything we could and packed up and moved to Colorado with the idea that like, I know that I can go get any job. And I did. Got this job working for a company. There was a group of about 40 of us that went through the initial orientation. They were a brand new company in Colorado, but they had been in like Texas and Oklahoma and Pennsylvania and things like that. But we were like the first graduating class of their orientation for this company. Being that it was that way, nobody knew what they were doing. Like even they hired this guy who's still a good friend of mine. He's back in Oklahoma now, but they hired him. His name's Davey. He was like the manager, like of everything, and he didn't know what he was doing any more than any of us did. So we all kind of just learned together. But it was that same sort of thing where it was completely on call. There was no schedule whatsoever. We weren't following any of the CDL driving rules as far as like hours or anything like that. I was one of two. There was so much turnover. I think starting out, I was one of like two, maybe three CDL drivers. There was points where I was the only CDL driver. So it was like literally, I think my record was 109.25 hours. And I hit that
in 1 week.
Yeah, I hit right around there several times, but
Jesus,
average was like 80 to 95 hours a week. And you couldn't do anything because you're just on call.
Yeah.
And I did that for 5 years. Not exactly like that. So Davey ended up going back and working in their West Texas division as a salesperson. And I took over his job after about a year and a half. So I was the one like fielding the calls from the customers and then calling people. And the most frustrating part of that job was
I remember when you were doing that, man. You were fucking glued to your phone all the time.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Anytime, day, night,
I could
whatever.
not answer it. It was 100% unacceptable to not answer your phone no matter what you were doing.
Yeah.
So if I was in the shower and I heard my phone ring, I would literally shower with my phone like right outside the shower door. Yeah. And I would have to stop my shower and like take a phone call. Can't tell you how many times that happened. Or just I would sleep with my phone right next to my pillow because the oil field there's no difference between the day and night in the oil field because most companies that are actually on a schedule have like, they have a day shift and they have a night shift.
Right.
Well, I was the single point of contact for that company 24/7.
Yeah. So your shift is the day, all day shift.
My shift is, yeah, exactly. It's 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where, do you ever notice like, so when your phone's on the table and there's like a weird like silence before your phone rings, you almost know when it's going to ring.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, or maybe it was just my senses got heightened.
Probably.
By that. I didn't sleep deeply for 5 years. Like my phone was right by my pillow and I would wake up and answer my phone before it actually even rang.
See, this is probably a whole different conversation, but I've always wondered if like that sense that you get that someone's going to call you, if that's somehow a heightened sense where, because when you get a phone call, and this is how it's been explained to me, I could be talking out of my ass, but when you get a phone call, what happens is like your cell phone is being tracked all the time by depending on what tower it's connected to at any given time. But when a phone call is coming to you, that tower will ping out a very high frequency signal like very quickly. That is basically the call signature to tell your phone that a call is coming through. And then that's why it starts ringing and stuff. And so I wonder if somehow maybe every once in a while we can pick that up. You know what I mean? And that's what you're talking about, that silence.
It's definitely possible.
That calm. All of a sudden it's that fucking high power frequency that's just jamming through your fucking skull for a half a second.
Could be. I mean, we're electrical beings. Like I actually just did that the other day. I had my multimeter out because I had to like test some stuff on my truck, and just out of curiosity, like, put it up to my finger.
Oh, that's a typical dad thing.
Yeah.
That's like taking a stud finder and sticking it against yourself. Like, oh, yep, found one.
Well, no, like you actually like put off an electrical frequency.
Yeah.
Have you done that? Like,
I've done that.
Mine was 0.4, and then I was at home when I did it because I was like making sure it was working before I took it outside. And I did it to Casey too, just out of curiosity, and she put off the same exact thing, 0.4.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I was just wondering if
that's actually a really good theory.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I mean so I ended up doing that. I managed that place for close to 4 years, I guess. That's where I met Casey. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. Like it was literally killing me. I wasn't sleeping. My heart was beating out of my chest most days. Just, I was living off of Red Bull and coffee and nicotine.
Yeah.
And, my weight was really low, but I was like flabby and soft and from eating gas station food
and probably not working out.
No, I didn't have time to.
Yeah.
And no sleep. It just literally. So once I actually quit, Casey convinced me to go to some doctor, kind of a similar type of doctor to what you're talking about. More naturopathic, like kind of a hybrid, not against traditional medicine, but definitely tries to go the natural route first.
Yeah, she'll try to get you healthy naturally, but if you do need something stiffer, she'll write you a prescription.
Yeah, that was her primary doctor, so she got me an appointment with him. His name was Dr. Rhodes, and they hooked me up to an EKG and all sorts of stuff, and he was like, this is like a couple days after I quit, and I was fucked up. Like he was like, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop it and just like change course now. And I was like, I am. Like, this is what I've been doing, and I'm definitely open to any pointers for other stuff I can do too. So I didn't, because my phone was such a trigger for me. Like I hated my phone because the fact that I had to be glued to it all the time. I canceled my phone service and got rid of my phone, and I didn't have a phone for 3 months. I didn't work for I went off of unemployment. I had money saved and I went off of unemployment for 3 months, didn't have a phone. And at my follow-up appointment, don't remember exactly how long it was after the fact, but I went back and I was perfectly healthy.
I've thought quite a bit recently too about getting rid of the smartphone and just going back to like the singular clamshell or something. Because I mean, they actually have some pretty decent, like the old, like the first generation Motorola Razrs that were still the flip phone. Like they were fucking badass, and they still had like some apps, right? But it wasn't like a smartphone.
Yeah,
I've thought about going back to something like that. Yeah, it's just hard though, especially nowadays, because like for all of this crap, like I just got back on Facebook and social media and all that, but it's only for the show. I don't have like Facebook on my phone. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I will not put it back on my phone.
That's good.
The only time I'm ever on it is when I'm doing editing or something. I'll have it open on one of the screens and I'm just, checking the social shit while I do my work with this.
Right.
But then after that, nope, it's done. I don't touch it again till, the next weekend. So.
Yeah. I could totally do. The only thing that keeps me from going that route again, which I would totally love to, but I work off of my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of times where, my email's on my phone. There's a lot of apps that I'm required to have for my job.
Yeah.
Which my job is nothing like what it was before. I have a 40-hour-a-week job that I love and is not super stressful at all. But, there's stuff that's required of you,
Yeah, all the stuff that you were saying about being tied to the phone. I mean, with the tow truck, it wasn't nearly that bad, but I mean, it's still 24/7 being tied to that phone. And it's the same thing. You had to answer it. Like if I missed a call from state or county because you're on rotation, if I missed one, like if you do it enough times, then they'll take you off rotation.
Yep.
They'll basically say, okay, you're not answering. Fuck you. We're just going to, we're not going to call you anymore.
Yep.
And if that happens, then we're losing money because we're not getting tows. And so that was kind of when I started my way out of the tow business. I just got so sick and tired of it because every time that I wanted to like take a vacation or just have a weekend off and go like get trashed and have fun with my buddies, nobody would take it because nobody wanted to be tied to it.
Yep.
Right. So when I had just taken it on for like a week or two because I wanted to make some extra money, and then it was fun at first. So I was like, I'll do it for a while. But then it got to a point where like the boss, every time I'd go up to him and be like, hey, I want you to, take this for the week or something because I want to go do some stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I already had plans to blah, blah, blah. And then he'd fucking disappear. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Yeah. So I got stuck in it.
Yeah.
And like after, about a year of doing it, like there was one night where I think I woke up at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, just for no reason. I woke up and I was like, man, I really got to take a dump. So I go into the bathroom, taking a shit. I left the phone sitting on the kitchen counter, and it was just me living alone at the time. Like, my girlfriend didn't live with me. So the door was open and the phone starts ringing, and I'm sitting there taking a shit. And I'm like, okay, well, I can get up and I can hobble my dirty ass over there and grab the phone and answer it because I know who it is. Or I can not. And it was the first time that I had ever thought that I had ever thought I could just not pick it up.
Yeah.
Right? And so I didn't. I just sat taking my shit, enjoying myself. And then when the phone stopped ringing, I felt so good. Not only because I was taking a dump, but because I just because I ignored the phone, because I didn't pick it up. Yeah. That like Pavlovian response, you know, the bell rings and the dog salivates.
I broke the cycle.
Yeah, I did. I broke the cycle. It rang and I said, nope, not fucking doing it.
Yep.
So I ignored it. And then of course the next day he heard about it and he's like, "Why? I heard you got a call last night and you didn't answer. What were you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And I was always honest with him. Like, if I showed up late and he'd be like, there was one day I showed up and I was 2 hours late, and it was because I was up late the night before doing something. And I come strolling in like 2 hours late and he goes, "You know, you're supposed to be here at 8, right? It's fucking 10. Where the hell were you?" And I told him straight up, I go, "I was tired. I didn't feel like coming in. So I slept in." And he goes, he looks at my friend Ryan and he goes, "What the fuck am I supposed to say to that?" And he just walks out.
Yeah.
And me and Ryan start laughing. I'm like, whatever you want.
Honesty is the hardest thing to get mad at.
Yeah, right. So I told him. He was like, "You missed that call. What?" And I was like, "I was taking a shit." And the phone wasn't next to me. And he goes, "You missed a call because you were taking a shit." And I go, "Yep. Taking a dump was more important."
Yep.
So there was that. And then like the last straw was my girlfriend was staying the night, and like we were in the middle of getting it on and the phone rang and I answered it just out of habit. Mm-hmm. Like, it was up on the windowsill and I just reached up, flipped it open, and we're in the middle of doing it, and I'm talking to this dispatch lady and she's like, "Oh yeah, we have a call, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to take me a half hour."
Dude, I can't tell you.
And it was at that point that I was like, okay, this is enough. I'm fucking done with this. So I walked into his office the next day and I threw the phone on the counter and I just turned around to leave, and he goes, "What the fuck is this about?" And I go, "I'm done. I'm not running truck anymore." And he goes, "Bullshit, that's your phone. You take it." And I go, "No, I'm not running the truck anymore. So you can take the phone and you can deal with it. It's your truck. I'm done."
Yeah.
And I just went back to work. And it was cutting into because, doing auto body work, like, you're not paid by the hour. I mean, usually you're not. It's all commission work.
Right.
So the more work you can get done in a small amount of time, the more money you make. And this tow truck shit, because we had gotten busy at the time, was cutting into all of my money, like working on cars. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of, working out in a more rural area, a lot of the calls you get are way up in the fucking boonies or up the river or something. So it would take half of my day to go do a tow. And then that half of the day is now gone. And I would have to stay late or work weekends to make up that time fixing a customer's car. And then I would still be losing money. So on top of being tied to it all the time, never being able to have fun, and then losing money on doing my customer rigs, I finally was just like, fuck this. I was done.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Was that the same company that you were doing the auto body work through?
Yeah.
Was the same? Okay.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was a good job, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And I mean, if it weren't for, a lot of different circumstances happening all at once, I probably would have stayed there longer, but it just didn't work out.
How long did you do it for?
I was there for probably 2 years.
Yeah.
But they the statistics say auto body technicians usually only last, like, on average between 3 to 5 years, mostly because of all the chemicals that you're dealing with. You're sand and Bondo all the time. And really, when you think about it, a lot of that is because unless you work in a more urban area where OSHA is more present, I mean, a lot of guys that work in that business are kind of like good old boys, you don't need to wear a mask, you fucking pussy, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, when you're working as a painter and you're constantly spraying metallic flake and clear coat and stuff with no mask on, or you're constantly sanding Bondo or fiber fill with no mask on, and you're breathing all that crap,
Yeah.
you get fucked up, and it gets to a point where you have to quit. You just
Yeah.
get run down.
Yeah. You work with what you thought was an old timer who's been doing it forever. He looks like he's like 65, but he's 39.
Yeah.
He's like, you fucking pussy.
Yep. Yep.
I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at you, you silly bitch.
Yep.
I don't want to look like you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that whole thing, I mean, did that for 5 years in Colorado. And that's kind of what led me to coming back up here. The reason I didn't come back sooner, because North Idaho has always been home to me. If, during that time in San Diego, when I was looking for other things, if I thought that I could make a decent living up here, like working for somebody else,
Yeah.
then, because I had been a serial entrepreneur my entire life up until that point, and I was just kind of done with that. I just wanted to put in my time during the day and go home. They're just, I got to that point where I didn't want, especially after working, 90 to 100 hours a week, every week, I wanted something to where I could just, work my 40 hours a week and forget about it. I didn't think at that time that I could find anything like that up here to where I could make the type of money that I wanted to make. Plus, my ex-wife was a high maintenance bitch and she required like a certain amount of money. So that's why, I looked at the oil field because I could make good money. After all of that, we started talking, and Casey was having some health issues. We started talking about moving back up here. I'm like, yeah, I would love to move back up there. And our plan was always to do that. We thought it was going to be like, 10 years in the future, like once the kids were all grown. But started looking at jobs and realizing that wages had gone up significantly up here. And Casey actually found the job on Craigslist that I'm at now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I had been looking on like all the professional, like LinkedIn and Indeed and all of like the places that you look for like a legitimate job. And
Yeah.
she found a ad on Craigslist and sent it to me, and it sounded perfect on paper. It was a management job, operations management, which was my title at, after I had graduated from being a truck driver. Was what I did in the oil field, was operations management. I was able to learn, how to manage an entire company. And, it was a decent paying job starting out. And the interview process was long. It took like 2 months, and there was like several periods where they didn't call me back for a few weeks. But
I remember that. You came up here several times for interviews, didn't you?
no, I never came up here for interviews.
Oh, I thought you did.
I came up here several times during the year prior to that. My grandma had died. My grandpa died. And then Thanksgiving, I think, one time too. But no, so Casey and I, because I wasn't working, and so she was working at the time, but we were flying to Vegas so much because flights from Denver to Vegas were like $29 on certain days of the
super
week.
cheap.
So we would go to Vegas on weekends and stuff quite a bit. But finally, after my initial interview, it sounded really promising. The guy pretty much said he was going to hire me just over the phone. And then he was like, well, I'm going to be up in Idaho, because the CFO lives in Southern California. He's like, I'm going to be up in Idaho next week. Can you, on this day, I'd like to interview you in person. It's like, well, I don't live, I had told him this before, but he didn't remember probably. I was like, I can definitely fly up there, but here's the problem. I already have plans and tickets bought and a hotel bought. I'm going to be in Vegas on that day. And he was like, oh, well. And I'm like, well, if I need to cancel, I need to cancel. This is more important, and I can just fly up to Idaho and I can meet you. And he was like, well, he lived in near the Long Beach airport. So he was like, well, would it be possible to meet in Southern California at that time? So I started looking into it, and I was like, yeah, I can actually fly from Vegas. I just took a break from my vacation.
Yeah.
I went to the airport, took the 45-minute flight to the Long Beach airport, and we had my second interview in a little cafe in the Long Beach airport. And then I flew right back and went back to my vacation in Vegas. But then even after that, I didn't hear from him for a couple weeks. But we had already made the decision, like, we're going to move up and I'll find something. Even if it's not this job, if they're not going to call me back, then I'll find something. But luckily, he called me back about a week before we moved up and rolled into town on a Sunday night with the U-Haul, and I started that Monday morning.
Yeah, I remember you guys were hell bent on getting back up here.
Yeah, we were going to do it no matter what. I figured if I was going to be driving a truck or whatever it was going to be, we're going to figure it out.
Fuck yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too. It's almost 4 years ago now. I've been back. Almost longer than I've lived here the first time. I think it was just over 4 years when I was here the first time.
Yeah. So the place that you're at now, you're what did you say you do again?
So my position started as the operations supervisor.
Right.
So I worked for a company called Tractor Beverage. It was a local place that was started here. The whole premise of it, it's an organic beverage company.
Right.
So started by a guy named Travis Potter, who's an organic farmer here locally. The whole premise of, and he'll tell this story, is that he was somewhere in Montana and he had stopped to eat as he was traveling at an organic restaurant. And he didn't see a drink menu and he was like, hey, what do you guys have to drink? And they're like, oh, we have Coke products. And it just kind of like struck a chord with him because, he was an organic farmer, that he was like, well, that's interesting. Like an organic restaurant, like everything, everything is high quality, organic, non-GMO ingredients on the menu, but then they serve Coke products. So he was like, that's really interesting. So he just struck up a conversation with the manager of that restaurant. I was like, just curious, like nothing against the restaurant. The food was phenomenal, but why do you serve Coke products when everything else is organic?
Yeah.
And the manager was like, trust me, if there was another option, I would take it. And he was like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, there isn't very many options.
So it was kind of like a light bulb moment for him. So the drinks we serve are not bottled. We do have a very small line of bottled for a specific customer, but it's all food service industry. Because think about
it's like a concentrate, isn't it?
Yeah, everything comes in a concentrate form. So think of like soda machines where, the bag in the box is hooked up to the soda machine and it automatically fills with the carbonated water.
Yeah.
And then we have non-carbonated stuff too that's served out of other dispensers that are called bubblers. We started out completely as a soda company and then transitioned, realized that we were never going to get very far with soda because of Coke and Pepsi's contracts.
Right.
Coke and Pepsi's contracts are very strict.
They fucking own everything and they're in everywhere.
Yeah, but that was kind of a loophole, is going the non-carb route, which is like probably 90% of our business right now is non-carb stuff. But we're completely food service because it's a small niche that was not served at all, that there was just no market for. We pretty much created the market for organic beverages in restaurants. Just a healthier, better for you is kind of their tagline. Better for you beverages.
It's good stuff too.
Yeah, it's really good. It's phenomenal. But, a lot of people ask me like, well, why don't you guys like have bottled and canned stuff? And that may come someday. And like I said, we have a couple of products for one specific customer that are, but it's because that market is completely oversaturated. Like think about walking into a convenience store and all of the different drink options, and they're constantly changing. There's all sorts of different drink options. There's so much.
There's so many different
competitive market.
Yeah.
We would just be another brand on the shelf, and plus retail. You have to pay to get shelf space, and it's just.
Yeah, well, in bottling, packaging, all that stuff, it costs money. We were talking about this earlier, but yeah, it all costs money. So to put that out there, you really have to have a good, solid foundation of where am I going to sell this? Do I have a market for it? All that stuff before you go put in that kind of money.
Right.
Yeah.
So food service has been our target market. And like you were saying with packaging and everything, just shipping our product is way more efficient. The amount of finished product, because it's in concentrate form, the amount of finished product we can get is like 8 times what we could get if we were shipping bottled product.
Yeah. Yeah, being the concentrate.
So when you talk about, like carbon footprints and like the environment and stuff like that. Like, you know, if one wanted to talk about that sort of stuff, it's a real thing. I mean, we use 8% less, or not 8%, it's 8 times less energy getting our stuff to the market than traditional drinks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was funny because I had absolutely no experience in that industry whatsoever. Other than that, I had experience in the logistics industry, and that's a big part of my job is logistics. But as far as like consumer packaged goods, I had nothing. But I had management experience and I had logistic experience, so it worked out. And they've been the best company I've ever worked for by far. And I've moved up, and they have treated me very well. So currently, I'm the director of operations for that company.
It's interesting, right? That you like, and I mean, you know, we don't need to talk about money or anything, but I mean, you make a good living doing what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and so like we tell my kid all the time, if you want to go to college, great, do it. You know, it's a lot of hard work, and you know, we can't pay for a whole lot of it. I mean, we can help you out and do what we can do, but you know, you're probably going to end up in community college. So you're going to be working a job trying to pay for it while you go to it. It is what it is. You know, but this whole notion of that everybody has to get a college degree, right? In this day and age, it's so stupid. And unfortunately, it kind of is true, because there's a lot of companies that are so stupid that they won't look at somebody's work history and say, okay, well, you spent 10 years, you know, as a supervisor at this place. You know, what's your management skills like? They don't care. They want to see that you have a piece of paper from a college that says you know something, even though, I mean, I know plenty of people who have college degrees that are fucking morons.
Totally.
And there's a lot of them. So it's interesting to me that you landed in this position that took your experience, right? So the whole truck driving gig that goes towards logistics, moving stuff around and understanding how all of that works. You know, loading trucks, moving them, getting things where they need to go, all of that. And then on top of your management experience in the oil field, having to lead crews and manage people and manage business and all this stuff and talking to customers. I mean, really, all of that stuff is just raw experience that led you into the job that you're in now. And luckily they were smart and said, okay, well, here's a guy who knows his shit.
Yeah. And I think it's trending away from, like, I think people are kind of becoming privy to that college degrees aren't necessarily a requirement for certain levels. I mean, the job I'm in now on paper, like if you were to look up my title on Google and what the requirements are, it says, you know, a bachelor's degree and 5 to 10 years of experience in management and things like that. But that's not, I mean, that's all fine and dandy on paper. But in reality, if you know what you're doing and you can prove that you know what you're doing, that's what, at least the smart companies. I'm sure there's still plenty of companies out there that will follow that to a T, but I think that's going to become less and less as we move forward.
Yeah, I think another problem is a lot of companies that look for, you know, they say in their hiring ad that they like 5 years experience minimum is required.
Right.
Well, are you looking at anybody who has the ability to learn? Does it have to be 5 years experience? Because I know people who they know a lot about, you know, whatever it is that they might have been applying to, but then they get turned down because they don't have 5 years experience. They've only been in the business for 1 year, 2 years, maybe something like that. But they're like, I know them and I know what they do, and they're really good at what they do, but they get turned down trying to move, you know, even just laterally to another place, doing the same thing they do, but, you know, trying to make waves and move over and maybe try to make more money, you know, in a different place, something like that. And they get turned down because they don't have, sometimes it's because they don't have a degree, which is stupid, because it's like, okay, well, talk to their current employer or their previous employers. Like, do they know what they're doing? Did they do a good job for them? And then the other one is always, it comes down to experience. Well, you don't have 5 years experience. Like, okay, but again, talk to the people that I work for now, the people that I worked for before, and I have the, you know, maybe not term of experience, but I know what I'm doing. I've done well with them. I'm just looking for a different opportunity.
Yep.
Any company that goes so just die hard with whatever the hell they put on their, hiring page, to me, that's just stupid.
Yep.
I've hired a lot of people that know nothing about what I'm hiring for, but just through speaking with them in the interview, like, they're smart people and they can learn and they have the ability to learn. And sometimes that's really what you need, is somebody who you can mold to do what you need.
Sometimes that's better.
Yeah.
Because if you have people with all this experience, and this is based on my experience in hiring people like that are just like, they have this phenomenal resume and they're like, oh yeah, I've done this, like I'm an expert in this.
Right.
They come in with their own way of doing things, and that's not necessarily how you want it to be done.
Yep.
So you almost have to retrain them to do it your way.
Yep.
And to do it the way the company expects it to be done.
Yep.
So having somebody, if it's, mechanics or something that requires mechanical aptitude, having somebody, like you said, that's smart and is teachable, that just has that ability and that innate skill set that they can build off of, that's the ideal person in my book.
Yeah, I have this kid that works for me now, and I think he's 20. He's in his early 20s. Did a small stint in the Navy, but I mean, the kid looks like he's 12, and he's a funny kid. But he has absolutely no CNC experience whatsoever. He's never, ran a computerized plasma table or done anything like that. Never. But he's a smart kid, very fast learner. You tell him to do something and you lay it out for him and you say, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this. This is how you do it. And I need you to make sure that when you do this, you do it this way, and here's why. And as long as you give him clear direction, he doesn't miss a beat. I mean, this kid just gets on it and he does it.
I love those type of
gets
people.
It done.
That's awesome.
He learned how to run. By the time after 2 weeks, he had it down pat. He knew what he was doing. He still calls me, or sends me a text every once in a while on a weekend if something's going kind of haywire or whatever. But other than that, not one problem. This kid he gets in there and he works his ass off and he gets it done. I leave him a note on Thursday night saying, hey, you need to work on this, this, and this, and get this done before Monday. And Monday comes around, I show up, and he's got that and then some stacked on the floor done.
Yep.
And that's what I'm talking about. Is it's take the time to get to know these people that are applying, and granted, especially if you're in a huge urban area where you're getting, shit tons of applications. Yeah, it might be hard to dig through all of them, and pick somebody out. But if you're going to take the time to look at even one of them, then take the time to really get to know them a little bit if you can. Don't just disregard an application because they have only got 2 years experience and your stupid hiring page says 5. Well, okay, where did they go to school at? Maybe it's not what you're looking for, but it works. Where have they worked? What have they done?
It's so hard to tell off a resume. You just don't know until you talk to somebody.
Yep.
And the whole thing with college degrees, the only thing that, in my opinion, that a college degree proves is that you can start a task and finish it. I mean, to go 4 years through college and finish it shows that you can accomplish finishing a task and sticking with it. But
it shows determination.
At the same time, experience. If you can stay, that's one of my pet peeves. Looking at resumes is, and it's so much more prevalent than it was even 10 years ago. The job hopping aspect. People that just job hop all the time. You look at their resume and you're like, oh, this guy was here for 6 months and then here for 8 months. And then that's a big red flag to me. Yeah,
I had one of those recently.
Yeah, I get a ton of those.
Yeah, I had a guy who applied, and it was that same thing. He had job hopped. I don't think he spent more than 3 months at any position he's had in the last 2 years. And that, he was a nice guy. I really kind of liked him. He's probably a guy that I would go have a beer with, but as far as work history goes, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we tell my kid is, if you're going to do that and you need to discover what you like and what you're good at, you need to do it now while you're young.
Right.
Job hop now. It's okay while you're young to move around and try new things. And really you should. If you don't have a clear idea of what it is you want to do,
Figure it out.
do it now. Yeah. But once you figure it out, stick with it, and learn as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because when you get older and you're still trying to figure it out, if you're 30 and you're job hopping, you're going to have a hard time finding jobs. And that's when you're going to get stuck perpetually in a hiring agency.
Yep.
Which, whatever. I mean, if that's your thing, I mean, there's a lot of people. I've met people who, they go through temp agencies because they don't really want to be strapped down to any one place. They like being in a new place every 3 months or whatever. That's fine. That's cool if that's your gig.
Yeah.
I mean, not what I would pick. It's rough in my opinion, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, to each their own, but doing that, I mean, you're never going to move up. You're never going to like make more money than more than an entry level position. You know, I remember, so I got my associate's degree right out of high school and never went any further because, I didn't have anybody in my family that had went to college. I didn't know about financial aid. I didn't have a high school counselor that like guided me on stuff. I just remember going through, the first counselor I talked to was the one at the junior college. Like, okay, what's the next step? And going through and looking at the numbers of the debt that I would have to go into to actually go to a 4-year college after I got my associates. And I'm like, I think I'm going to get my real estate license. I think I'm done with school now. So I did. I mean, I had my associates when I was 19. But I remember sitting in business 101 class because I got my business management degree. And the teacher was talking about, or the professor was talking about something and teaching, like telling us, not stuff from the textbook, but like anecdotal stuff and telling us stories. And what I picked up on most from when she was talking was the fact that she had never, I think somebody asked her like, oh, what businesses have you owned? Or, what have you done? Like,
so you do have an associate's in business management?
I have an associate, yeah.
Oh, okay, well that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, I always joke like that pretty much qualifies you to like manage a Taco Bell, maybe. But these days you don't even need that.
That's probably about right.
Yeah. But the big red flag to me that I saw from that was she was like, oh, I've never owned a business. I would never do that. That's just not my style.
And that was
that's
professor?
Not my thing. Yeah, that's the professor of my business 101 class. The first business class that I took when working towards my degree. And she was just like, no, I would never own a business. That's not my thing. I'm like, but you're teaching a class on this. And I was, well, what? That didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, so there is definitely a big difference between book knowledge and applied knowledge. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, that's one thing that I paid attention to as I went through like, other business professors, just trying to like subtly pick up on what's this person's background? Like, have they owned a business? Do they own a business currently?
Yeah.
Most of them hadn't.
Yeah.
It's all just, academia.
I would say for me, it's probably 50-50. Like, I mean, I was never good in school. I always had a hard time with just having to get up in the morning and go to this place and listen to people talk. And I don't know, it just irritated the shit out of me. I was never good at school. But, I half of it is book smarts. The other half of it is just like applied learning. I learn best with my hands when I just get in there and do something and figure it out. I'm a very much an analytical mind. So, don't, if you're going to tell me how to do something, then just tell me and then get the hell out of my way and let me get in there and get my hands dirty. And 9 times out of 10, I will have it figured out faster than half the people you've got working for you.
Yep.
Whereas like my kid, book smart. She likes to act like she's a street smart, thug, but no.
Not at all.
You've met her, yeah. No, she's a nerdy bitch at heart.
Yeah. No, she's definitely very intelligent, but yeah.
Yeah.
Street smarts, that's one of the... I'm actually really... Our youngest son, he's very street smart. He's been proven himself a lot in that aspect, which I'm really happy about. So to survive in this world, you have to be street smart nowadays. And I feel like
to a certain degree,
most of this generation is definitely not.
Yeah, well, you know, and they always say, what's that say? Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to a point, yeah, that's true. You shouldn't judge people before you get a chance to know them, to really know them, you know. And by judgment, I mean you shouldn't just rule them out or just decide that they're bad. But that's part of survival, is by judging people by the cover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're just going up to every single person you meet like a happy dog that doesn't know anything, I mean, that's when you get hurt.
Yep.
That's when you're vulnerable.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I don't think it's necessarily judging. It's just being cautious and being aware of the reality of the world, and
Right.
being aware of the nature of humans. And there's, I think that's one of the things that it's hard to like get into the minds of young kids right now, is all of the crazy stuff that happens in the world. Like, they've never seen it. It's kind of outside, out of mind. They've never seen sex trafficking. They've never seen somebody get murdered. They've never seen, a drug deal gone bad. They've never they've never had their friends die in a car crash from doing something stupid. So none of that stuff just computes with them. They don't think that,
Right.
they think they can just go do all of these things, and the parents are stupid for telling them they're being dumb and what they're doing is dangerous. They don't see it that way. They view themselves as invincible, which is probably normal, I guess.
Yeah,
to some
normal.
extent.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just, life experience that teaches you those things, but
I thought the same shit when I was that age.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had this conversation with several people. Like, again, I'm a rebel. So you tell me not to do something, that's probably the first thing I'm going to do. I don't like being told what to do. I just don't. That's just how my mind works. I mean, unless I'm getting paid for it,
Right.
I'm not going to listen to you. But, like if my mom came to me and she figured this out, I can't remember when, but thankfully at one point she figured out that if she kind of would just talk to me about something and just be like, hey, this is what could happen if you do stupid shit like this, blah, blah, blah. These are the consequences that you could potentially have to deal with, and blah, blah, blah. At that point, I was more open, and I would listen, and, I would think about it more like, oh, okay. It started that conversation in my brain between me and, the inner voice that was like, is this really a good idea?
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? So, but anytime she would tell me, no, you can't, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Next day, I'd be fucking out doing whatever it was. And of course, it would not end up well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, I think that's a normal kid thing. Yeah, some kids are worse than others.
Yeah.
But we all at that age think that we know everything, that we're hot shit in a champagne glass when we're really just cold diarrhea in a Dixie cup.
I like that. I take a piss break again.
Pee break?
Yeah.
Pee break it is. So I was curious if you know anything about this. So whatever this power slap league is with the UFC.
This is news to me. I've seen the power slap stuff. I'm familiar with it, but I had no idea that the UFC was. Did they like buy, acquire a power slap league or start one?
No, I think Dana White's starting or did start a power slap league. I think Dana White's power slap league being a necessary addition to the combat sports docket. So either he wants to or officially announced his involvement in power slap. And this whole article like starts out, the catch line is, I guess Joe Rogan on one of his shows was talking about how he's not into it. He'll watch it because he's always going to watch it because he's friends with Dana, but
yeah, I would have to look more into it. I'm looking at the site you're on. That's definitely a reputable source. That's news to me completely, but yeah, I withhold judgment, I guess, for now, but on paper that doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Well, and that's what I'm just trying to figure out is what the fuck is power slap?
So you can pull up some videos. it's interesting to watch, like, the 30-second videos on YouTube or TikTok of it, but to watch a whole event of it doesn't. Might have to disagree with Dana on this one.
Presenting Power Slap press conference, slap fighting championship.
It's basically just two guys standing across from each other on a table and slapping each other until one of them quits or gets knocked out.
For real?
Yeah, like back and forth.
So that's a UFC league?
It wasn't before. It was like a kind of an oddball, like Russian thing before.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Absurd and senseless sport in the world is about to go mainstream with the announcement of the Dana White-backed Power Slap League. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and this is your number one source for learning about the medical side of the sports world. And in this video,
thanks, Brian
we're going to dive
Suter.
into slap fighting, specifically the recent announcement with Dana White's Power Slap League. Get to the point, I don't think any commission should be backing slap fighting. I think it's one of the most just senseless, unnecessarily risky and dangerous sports. What do we always hear in combat sports? Whether it's boxing, mixed martial arts, or whatever, it's protect yourself at all times. Fighters, while they're trying to inflict damage,
So it's literally
on
fucking
another,
slap
and you might say
fighting.
that
Yeah.
the injuries that are possible in mixed martial arts are
Not
worse
even
looking
fighting,
than
really,
injuries
because
in
there's no
slap
defend.
fighting.
You
In
can't
slap
defend
fighting,
yourself.
there
It's
is
literally
no defense.
You just
certainly
stand
are
there,
not
yeah.
allowed
letting
to
somebody
protect
slap you
yourself. And so
back and
what
forth
you
until-
get is basically just two people trading concussive blows
Exactly.
for one another. There's
So
no
it's
doubt
a
that slap
way
fighting drives a
of
ton
letting
views and
people
excitement.
who
Click on
are
content,
not
look on YouTube. There are tens of
martial
millions of views
artists
on these different videos of slap fight highlights and competitions. But just because something is
We used to do this
popular
shit
and
when
it's
I was a
gonna get
kid.
clicks doesn't mean that
Yeah.
it's inherently a good or even
Uh,
reasonably safe thing. Right off the bat,
Like me and my friends would literally just sit around the kitchen table like playing cards and getting drunk, and then we would end up just slapping the shit out of each other for
Yeah.
the fun of it.
And that's normal, but as a sport,
being something that could have serious injury consequences.
I mean, exactly
And
what this
most
guy's saying. Like,
slaps, what
even
we
that
see
a
right here,
UFC
where it
fighter,
truly is
they might have,
hitting
30
injuries
fights in their
while still
MMA career.
dangerous and having risk,
You get knocked out
aren't
a
going
few
to be
times,
necessarily as
and
bad
that's
as a
very
direct
damaging
punch.
to
But a
your
lot of
long
slap
term.
fighting is actually
Yeah, it's not good
this.
for you.
Yeah,
Basically,
you're not getting
a
knocked out every
one-handed
fight.
punch,
You're not
where if you strike somebody
taking
with
those
more
types
like
of
the hard
blows, and they're
palms of your
literally
wrist
taking
and
those
purpose
types of blows
is really no different than just
every single
punches.
time,
Your
multiple
wrist palms
times a
sit
night.
right underneath
That's
this
not
lower
healthy at
portion of
all.
your palm. And
Yeah.
so if you make contact with someone's face, striking with that
And that's
portion
what he
of
was
your wrist,
saying, palm
it's not a
strikes.
slap at all.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're
Essentially
if you're
equivalent to a
slapping
one-handed punch. I mean,
a
look at
certain
this
way,
from the
then
promo
you're
video.
palm
This is
striking.
absolutely not a slap.
Palm strikes are
This is just
powerful.
hitting
Yeah.
somebody
After we're done with
with
this, I'll show you
the hard
something.
palm of your hand. That certainly is enough impact that it could be causing concussions with every subsequent blow. Beyond the
Well,
risk
yeah,
of
anytime
damage,
you're smacking
there's
your brain
obviously
around,
risk
that's
of
gonna
injury,
that could cause a
trauma,
concussion.
facial bones, fractures. But you'll notice the competitors also wear this cotton inside their ears. That's because if you ever slap somebody
Equilibrium,
over the ear, open palmed, there's a tremendous amount of force that gets imparted into the ear canal that can rupture the eardrum. So you're also risking things like hearing damage that hopefully this cotton stays in and helps prevent. But there's so many levels here to what can go wrong.
I wonder if a guy's ever fucked up so bad on an anniversary gift that his woman slapped him so hard it broke an eardrum.
They've got some safety precautions here, I guess. People standing behind him so that if you do fall unconscious, you don't hit your head. We've got the same refs who are at UFC.
Damn, you get
fights
knocked
here
out from a
participating in
slap?
these. And because
Oh,
the Nevada
totally.
Athletic
So,
Commission
I mean,
has now
there's
approved
very
it,
little,
there's
like,
going to be
people
medical
think of a
compliance as
slap,
well. But what may
and it
not
can
surprise
be,
you
like,
is that
this
actually
part
a
of your
lot
hand.
medical
Yeah.
boards
But
that are
I've
involved in
watched a
combat
lot of
sports
these guys, and the
are
ones who
upset they did
do the
not think
best
that the Nevada State Athletic Commission should approve
just
it. Some of
tilt
the
it a
biggest
little
names
bit
in combat
and are
sports
hitting
fighting
instead of
together.
with the end of
Fight
your
now,
hand
general
with the palm.
awareness about
That's a
injuries.
super powerful
We're
powerful
very
Like
strike.
like right on the heel of your palm.
Yeah, it's a palm heel strike.
Jesus.
And when you hit that behind, like at the ear, behind it, not even necessarily on the ear, but like right here, like we can't do it with headphones on, but after we're done, just kind of tap yourself right there, right below the ear.
Yeah.
You get all jumbled, like you can't see straight for a second.
Jesus.
But it's a huge knockout shot to be able to hit somebody right there.
Also, was that promo video just for promotion, or was
Yeah,
that
this
for
seems.
competition?
I
Because
mean, this seems
if they
stupid.
subjected these people to these impacts and
One
traumas
of
just for
my
a promo video,
My
that's a
favorite
whole other
MMA
level
fighters of all time, his
I
name is
understand
Bas
the business
Rutten.
side. There's
He made a
people who are
career
gonna watch this
out
and
of, he was
probably
kind of,
gonna
he ended up being a UFC heavyweight champion, but like back in the early days, he was like in an organization called Pancration over in Asia. and their rules were only open hand striking. It was like one of the first like hybrid MMA organizations. But he learned how to just palm strike. He was a phenomenal striker. And he would just destroy people with open hands. So look up Bas Rutten palm strikes.
Boss.
It's a BAS. He's Dutch.
Oh, gotcha. Bass.
Slap. See, first
Oh,
one.
look at that. Yeah. First one.
Yeah.
Bass, Rutten, slap, KO.
Yeah.
What about this one?
Go to this. Yeah, go, that top one should be good. His liver shots, both kicks and punches were his thing too.
Oh, Jesus.
But he was a scary striker. See?
Yeah, I saw that. Is he a kickboxer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
So he was a straight like a Dutch Muay Thai kickboxer, and he didn't know any sort of submissions or anything. So I think he has 3 or 4 losses on his record, all of them to Shamrocks, like because Ken and Frank Shamrock were catch wrestlers, so they knew submissions. So early in his career in that organization, he lost to Shamrocks. He may have lost to one other person, but I can't remember. But it was all by submission. So he spent all of his time learning submission and submission defense, and then that was brutal. He went on a 22 fight unbeaten streak at the end of his career.
Jesus.
Like after he started submitting people. So after he studied submissions for like a year, went on like his next 5 wins were by submission, and like submitted people randomly throughout his career. But he was always just like a brutal striker.
I had the best guillotine because it was pretty much the only weapon
Bass
I
and
had.
Vernon White, 94.
I'd pull him away from
Oh,
the
damn.
rope, and there is the tap out.
Yep.
It's him giving his own commentary. He's actually a really entertaining like commentator, and
Basses.
yeah, he's been. Did you ever see the movie with what's that guy's name? Here Comes the Boom.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, he was like one of the main characters in it. The guy from King and Queens. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah,
Fuck, what's his last name? Not Kevin Hart.
no, that's what I keep going in my head. And
Oh, right,
I know the guy's name. I know his face.
Yep. Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah,
That's funny. They're like, oh, his shin broke. And the first thing I thought of was, I mean, it was his ankle, not his shin, but Conor McGregor.
yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I think we were at your house when that happened. We were watching the fight.
Yeah,
And that, like, he just stepped back and then his ankle rolled completely over. Like, the bottom of his shin bone touched the mat. Like, that's how far over it rolled.
Yeah.
It was so fucking disgusting.
yeah. So you can go out of this, but just look up his name, and there's a video. I think it's pretty high on the search results. That's him talking about open hand strikes, and actually like behind the ear strikes. Oh, those are the best too. That's not what I'm talking about, but those street defense videos. There's like, so he had a whole series of like videos back in the 90s where it's all just like street defense, and it's fucking hilarious. Like actually great material, but yeah, why don't we just watch that? It's that's comedy. Good stuff, but comedy.
Did you ever watch In Living Color?
Oh yeah.
You remember the Jim Carrey episodes where he was teaching women's defense courses?
I don't remember that.
You remember that? And he's all dressed up in like the karate gi and everything. And like, he's all telling him like, now come at me like you're an attacker with this knife. And then she's like coming at him like just all kind of mousy. And he's like, no, do it this way. And like she has to stick her arm completely out and just like straight up and down. And then he kicks this chick's ass. But then the next one like gets up and just like one swift move just takes him down.
Yeah. So watch the way he describes stuff.
Look what we got here. Smack his face. Create distance and grab a chair. You can slam it into his face. You can stab with it. And while I
So
throw
he
it
has
at him, I would kick him in the groin.
In addition to being a professional fighter, he has all sorts of like street fighting stories. He used to be a bouncer, so
Oh,
he
yeah.
has like all sorts of those stories.
He's just like beating that guy's head in the tail.
Never do this.
Bang, bang, no, I'm not. And he comes in, boom, front kick, boom, boom, simultaneously, the elbow in the head, grab his wrist.
This makes me think of Rex Kwon Do.
He gets brutal too. He talks about like killing people and stuff. Like right here, he
everything I want to do.
and oh,
Grab.
there's the extended version of that is he like takes the guy's own knife and he has them like in a Kimura grip like that, and he was like, and you just tried to kill me, so now I'm going to return the favor. Bang, bang, boom, and stabs him in the liver with his own knife.
Own knife, here,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
stab.
Stab.
Watch. I'm grabbing the inside of his hand like this. 1, 2.
It's good shit,
Support
though.
his elbow. I can,
It's all
of course,
legitimate
kick him in
information.
the head.
Yeah.
I really want to be. I can put my knee on and break
Oh, God.
the arm. Never, ever let him take that choke. Because if you're out, God knows what they're going to do with you. He's choking me and he's going to lift me up. Huh? I'm loose. Okay. 1. Kick to the knees. Or maybe a heel to the balls. Heel to the balls. And I can lean forward and go back with a headbutt to the head. Kick to the leg. Heel to the...
They like keep
This is how these
repeating.
videos were produced too. That's why it's so funny.
Heel.
to the side. Somebody's telling me that
this is
about
great.
my wife. I'm sorry, sir, but I'm gonna break your leg. I grab his toes, and then I'm gonna go like that. This knee will be shattered. He gets your arm, you break it, bang, right straight. Or he grabs it again, go out, bang, left straight. Pushing down as hard as I can. I make a turn, and you see I got an arm bar on him. Boom, kick in the groin, bang, right straight. Wrong move. Don't do that to El Guapo. Grab, boom, strike, boom, elbow. Once he's down, boom, knee to the head. I'm grabbing his arm. It's full power. I hit his wrist. This is a wrist lock right here. I pull it. Ow, ow, ow. Bang, bang, bang. And you know these people, they're talking to you. Something's going to go wrong. And you want to choke the guy out. Support his arm.
Something's going wrong and you want to choke him out.
Like this, and I step in. I grab,
Oh, yeah.
and I squeeze everything together, and watch. He will tap. Grab the heel, and I step. And he taps. All the way like this.
He kind of reminds me of Henry Rollins for some reason.
He's gonna break
Yeah.
his leg. If you
Same
push
build.
it on, and you
Yeah.
push my head forward, that's powerful. See, I cannot go back. I push up like this. I use the power of my hands. Go to the side, grab the flash.
You ever listen to much Rollins Band or any of his like poetry?
Not his poetry, no. The Henry Rollins Band, yeah, back in the day. Not anytime recently though.
Yeah, I'm fucking bummed that he's not touring anymore. They're not doing it. Like he quit touring music. Like he quit the music gig. I mean years ago because I don't know if he just got bored of it or like what it was. I think he just felt like his time in the sun was over, you know.
Yeah.
And so now he just does his poetry readings, which are supposedly, I mean, I've seen a few of them online, but like being there and hearing them is fucking crazy.
He does acting too. I've seen him in quite a few things.
Yeah, he was in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
He was one of the Nazi
The white
guys.
supremacist, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, his poetry is pretty good though. I got into a Henry Rollins kick recently. I was watching Beavis and Butthead. I was in the garage working on the kid's car, and I had Beavis and Butthead on like usual, and Liar came on, and they were laughing and doing their usual gig. But I was like, man, fuck! I remember hearing this back in the day. Like this shit is really good. And so I looked up Rollins Band, and I was listening to a lot of his music. I'm like, man, I wish he was still touring because I would love to fucking go see him.
Speaking of Beavis and Butthead, have you seen it's a clip, like an old clip that's been going around recently, the white privilege?
No.
You haven't seen that? Oh,
No.
look that up. Was
it Beavis
it's
and
a
Butthead?
it's a short one, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, Beavis and Butthead white privilege probably is.
White privilege. Probably probably didn't spell any of that right.
There you go.
Oh, look. There you go.
Yep.
Is it an episode?
No, it's just it's part of an episode. It's just a short clip of one, though.
Yeah. There's a slut at her house who's gonna, like, do it with us. Any of you ladies want to, join the party?
Right now. Hang on, everyone. Hang on. This is teachable, okay? Now they use.
Have you seen the new
slut
episodes?
in a sex-positive way, which
No,
is
I
a
haven't
good
yet.
thing. But other than that, these two are a reminder that we still have a long.
Yeah, it's on
hard
Paramount
road
Plus. They
ahead of
have
us.
they brought it back.
Oh, maybe this is that, because I just saw this clip coming
This
over.
looks familiar. They did a new movie too. So Beavis and
Oh,
Butthead Do the
gotcha.
Universe that came
Why
out.
don't we start by having you two tell us what you thought of the reading assignments for today?
We don't really read stuff.
Of course not, because you don't need to. Because Daddy's connections got you into college, and we'll get you a job on Wall Street.
Yeah, this is from one of the newer episodes.
Okay.
Do you know who my dad is?
I'm sure he's very powerful and can have me fired, but I don't care.
Cool. My dad's powerful. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. But his mom said he died of syphilis.
This is a classic example of white privilege, and you both have it.
What's that?
Anyone want to fill them in?
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay, so white privilege is when white people, particularly men, automatically assume they can take whatever they want. And they never have to worry about getting stopped by the police. And they have the inside track for any job
I got
they...
this one, Aisha. They have the inside job they want.
Exactly, Gage. Thank you for that.
That guy just totally white
That's
privileged.
White privilege.
Whoa. And we have that?
You sure do.
I see. Whoa. I never realized this stuff.
That's
You
awesome.
really opened up my eyes.
Well, I'm glad.
Oh Jesus.
It gets better.
Yeah, I think I saw this one. I just don't want to play too much of it.
Okay.
You end up getting in trouble for shit.
They basically go on to just do whatever they want and claim white privilege because they end up stealing a cop car. Like, you can't do anything. We got white privilege.
We have white privilege. We can do whatever we want. Yeah, that sounds like them. Well, and I know the old lady is waiting to get on out of here.
Yep. All right. It's been fun.
Yeah. Do it again.
Yep. We'll probably have quite a few of these, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, next time we'll have to dig into some maybe get into some political shit or some weird crazy stories.
Yeah.
Talk about some ghost stories.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to, I saw Dante's just came out this week. I'm looking forward to listening to that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. He had a lot of interesting stuff to talk about
Really?
with the hotel biz. Yeah, because he used to work in hospitality hotels and casino hotels
See, I
and
didn't
stuff.
know that, so it'd be
Yeah.
cool to,
Trust me, you'll never
Learn
want
more.
to sleep in a hotel bed again after you listen to him.
oh God, maybe I don't want to listen to it.
Especially probably Vegas. I don't even want to know
Oh,
what
geez.
kind of
Yeah, I'm sure.
cleaning they do there or lack thereof.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he's seen some shit, man.
I believe it.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming in again.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's fun, as always. All right, thanks everybody for listening. Have a good one.